racing day, so light out here I can't hear a thing. Man, the fans are going wild. And these drivers came to rock, and no place else but Fox knows how to do it NASCAR style.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
And it's, hey, now here we go, race day. Don't you be going slow. Keep that pedal down on the floor. Push it to the crowd, can't take no more. Then hey, since the flag came down, be here to the last lap around. Worked all week, it's time to play. Gonna get a little bit sideways. Woo! Hey, since the flag came down, be here to the last lap around. Worked all week, it's time to play. Gonna get a little bit sideways.
People are swarming the scene. From the beaches of Daytona to the Arizona desert, America loves NASCAR. Fox Sports welcomes you to Phoenix International Raceway for the second race of the season. Which of the superhero drivers behind the wheel needs a bounce-back performance today? Will the experienced drivers hold the upper hand on this one-mile track? Or will the country's newest superstar, Trevor Bayne, make it 2 in a row? How does this 20-year-old handle success, fast fame, and fortune? We'll soon find out on our pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut, and we are in the thick of it all here on Pit Road. And glad to have you with us as we go to where the action is to bring you closer to the races. Hi, I'm Chris Myers, and this is where America gathers every weekend for NASCAR. And a nice day in the desert, sunny, some clouds, cool, no rain, and good to be outdoors with our friends Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, and excited about the race today. It's also Oscar night, so today, help us out with some leading men we should keep an eye on.
Well, there's no question that Kyle Busch is on the road. He's already won 2 races here this weekend, trying to go for the clean sweep. Supporting actor, maybe his teammate Denny Hamlin. Long shot, Regan Smith.
Well, guys, I'm thinking about somebody as far as true grit. Has to be Kurt Busch starting outside pole. He's been running really strong, had a really great speed weeks. He kind of rolls in here looking to try to keep that momentum going.
Maybe later we'll get comments from Richard Petty in the King's speech.
Exactly
but
right.
Let's get to the headlines here in Arizona. The headlines all week. Trevor Bayne, his quest to win again. But they took a hit on Friday here when he crashed into the wall in practice, so he will be in a backup car. First time he's ever been in a backup car. Carl Edwards didn't win at Daytona, but finished second. He's your points leader. And then yesterday set a track qualifying record to win the pole, just over 137 miles per hour. So we'll keep an eye on Carl Edwards. And Kyle Busch looking for his second career weekend sweep. He won the truck race on Friday night. Yesterday, he led every lap to take that race as well. But as we talk about the big picture here, the reason Carl Edwards is the points leader, he designated the Sprint Cup Series for his championship, whereas Trevor Bayne started out with another series. He could switch, but he wouldn't get points for the Daytona 500.
No, he won't get points for the Daytona 500, but what's important, I think, as far as Carl Edwards is concerned, is the momentum he's riding. Ever since 2010, he won the final 2 races, including the one here at Phoenix in November. He's coming in here carrying a hot hand, and I think he's got the right attitude to make it happen here in 2011.
Well, I think Jimmy Johnson is, I am surprised. I'm shocked at how poorly the Hendrick cars have run here this weekend, qualifying deep in the field. Jimmy Johnson owns this joint. He has the best average finish of anybody here at a 4.9. He's won 4 out of the last 7. That's a guy we got to keep an eye on today.
Yeah, the speeds are up. This is a race more in the hands of the driver. For 5-time, it was a bad time. The Dominator off his mark last week, finishing 27th in the Daytona 500. But a slow start doesn't necessarily mean he can't finish fast for the defending champ, especially here in the desert where he's had great success.
Welcome to Phoenix.
One more trip around Phoenix for Jimmy Johnson.
I love the mountains.
Jimmy Johnson will win at Phoenix.
What's not to like?
Jimmy Johnson coasts across and wins it.
I love this place.
Jimmy Johnson comes to the line winning here at Phoenix.
But especially, I love to win here.
Did you say 48? Oh, yeah.
Well, Chris, even more amazing, in that span of time, 9 top 5 finishes to go with those 4 wins in over 1,000 lap sled. Jimmy, what is it about this racetrack that you like so much?
For me, I think it's just been the fact that it's kind of a quirky track, and those types of tracks have always been good for me. 1 and 2 is so different than 3 and 4. The asphalt has been old. Obviously, that's all going to change here soon, but it's been a track where you don't have a perfect race car, and you slide around a lot, and you got to make stuff happen, and that's just been good for me.
Good place for you to come back after last week.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're still learning some stuff. I mean, I think it's been mentioned a few times that the Hendrick cars aren't as fast as we'd like to see at this point of the season so far. But it is early, and it's hard to advance your cars when you can't test. So these first couple races are going to be a bit of a test session for us, and hopefully we're there in the top 5 to help that stat today.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. And Chris, he rolls off today, 28th.
All right, thanks, Steve and Jimmy. He looks rather calm, Daryl, for a guy. Think about it. Last 5 Daytona 500s, Jimmy hasn't been in the top 25 yet. He's been able to win championships.
I kind of like what he said, though. This place is a little quirky, a little quirky. But he's going to need max points today. And guess how many points that would be? 48.
Oh, there we go. 48.
Numbers again, numbers, my friend. But I tell you, he's going to take a really hot hand coming off the pit road with his crew today. I think the way you bounce back from a poor starting position is getting good pit position and allowing these guys to do what they do. Pit road's going to be important today, and Chad Knaus got to make a pretty good call to get him up front.
You guys look good. Your coat and tie's outside. This is kind of fun. All right, we're going to go 321 laps, 321 miles. We're just getting started on the pre-race show. Here's what's around the turn. We hope you hang around for the rest of the program. The Daytona 500 goes to Trevor. Who? People are still asking about the 20-year-old after his big win of the Great American Race. What kind of week did he have? You'll see it, you'll hear from him, and he'll join us live. Plus, Michael Waltrip makes a cameo at the White Sox spring training site. What do you get when you mix NASCAR and baseball? And a new segment on the show, Darrell Waltrip in a starring role. DW, what has him revved up?
Last week, NASCAR on Fox's season started out with a bang. Danger lurked at every corner for the sport's biggest stars.
Big wreck. Half the field.
Oh, Junior!
At the end, a new face emerged, the conquering hero.
Trevor Bayne!
Oh, my goodness.
This is unbelievable. This is fairy tale stuff.
And we welcome you back live here in Arizona. The grandstand sold out for today's race, but fans can get up on the hills, the nearby mountain ranges, and look in on the race today as we welcome you back to the NASCAR on Fox pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut. Well, it's a special place, the intersection of good fortune and great skill. When an athlete starts on a journey, finds the fast lane, and then lands in victory lane. That's the story of 20-year-old Trevor Bayne. His stunning upset in the Daytona 500 captured the attention of the country and triggered a wild ride.
Our first 500, are you kidding me? All right, we're here in Chicago at, it is 6:30 a.m. How are you? Good to see you. Very nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. I love anything that's breakfast form right now. I've been playing around with it so much that my knuckles swollen up. So I had to use soap to get it off.
All right, on to the next one.
Trevor Bayne! When you saw the checkered flag, what emotions did you have? Did you cry?
You know, I almost teared up a little bit, but I had to hold that in. I can't let Dale Earnhardt Jr. and those guys see me crying over there. That wouldn't be good. We flew from Daytona to Cincinnati to Chicago to San Francisco to here, and now we're going to Phoenix. My head's starting to pound a little bit, but we're still doing good. It's good times.
Well, young Trevor also got a call from the White House from Tim Tebow and received numerous marriage proposals. So who exactly is this guy really? Well, he doesn't have to look very far to find himself.
20-year-old Trevor Bayne. Are you kidding me? The Wood brothers return to victory lane. You're on the man. The glass slipper fit.
Am I dreaming right now? I wasn't dreaming. That just happened. Even Hollywood couldn't have written this story. Let's do a little recap. Wasn't I just driving my F-150 down to Daytona? Now who's gonna drive it back? Was I really drafting with Jeff Gordon during Speed Weeks? Jeff Gordon? My hero? Did I really start the Daytona 500 in the Wood Brothers' famous 21 car? And we were still in the game after 16 cautions and 74 lead changes? It's the last lap. I mean, somebody's got to pass us. But hey, at least I could tell my friends that I was leading the Daytona 500 on the last lap. Turn 1, still out front. Turn 2, still in the lead. Turn 3, here they come. Turn 4, they're looking low. Here comes the start-finish line. What, we won? We crossed the start-finish line in first. And then there's a checkered flag, and we're headed to victory lane.
What? I don't even know where to go.
Of course I knew where victory lane was. I was just caught up in the moment. I keep thinking I'm dreaming, I really do. I mean, next time I'll be sure to get my sponsors a little bit more TV time. Ford Motorcraft, first. My first ever Daytona 500, and we win it? Youngest driver ever to win the Daytona 500, 1976. I mean, come on, the last time the Wood Brothers with the 21 car won at Daytona, they were creeping across the start-finish line. Brothers. Here's to the Wood Brothers, who took a weekend hobby into a full-time job 60 years ago. Historic names. Names like Lund, Yarborough, Foyt, Pearson. All of these are Daytona 500 winners for the Wood Brothers, and now I'm proud and honored to add the name Bain to that list. This can't be a dream, but if it is, maybe I'll just keep sleeping.
And now we welcome live NASCAR's freshest face, Trevor Bain, ready to hop in his car and go around the track here in Phoenix. First, thanks for being with us. Congratulations. And Trevor, what will you take from Daytona personally that you will carry with you in your head in the car when you're racing today?
Thank you guys for having us here. And to answer that question, I mean, we know that we can do this. I know I've got a great team behind me with the Wood Brothers and Donnie Wingo and everybody that's involved. So I know they know how to get to victory lane. They've done it plenty of times before without me, and now hopefully we can do it together again. You know, I think that Donnie's got a really cool head, and he's good at keeping me paced and keeping my intentions in check here. You know, just focusing on maybe getting a top 15 run today.
Hey, Trevor, it's DW. Buddy, last week you were Superman. And this week you're going to need some of those supernatural powers to dig out of that hole you're in. What's your plan for today?
Exactly. Well, God really dug us out of it last week, and I think he can do it again. But we're good with whatever happens here. It's going to be a learning experience. This is my first ever Cup race at Phoenix. I learned a lot yesterday in the nationwide race, running 7th till we blew a right front tire and got into the wall. But I think we got a really solid car here on the long run, so maybe we'll get some green flag runs, get through the pack a little bit, and stay on that lead lap and keep our car out of trouble.
Trevor, this is Jeff. The thing is, you mentioned Donnie Wingo and his ability to kind of keep you calm. You guys always have a team meeting. What was discussed during the course of that team meeting?
Well, it's just the same things. You know, we want to be prepared for any kind of adversity, and you know, they do a great job of that here. They keep everybody in check all the time, and we got a really solid pit crew, so we got them all pumped up, and you know, we just went through the normal motions. You know, we came into this weekend just like if we would have finished 43rd at Daytona. We got to come into this ready to be prepared for adversity and knowing that we can do the job.
All right, Trevor, thanks very much. Good luck today. We appreciate having you on.
Thank you, guys.
All right, he'll start 33rd in the 43-car field. Remember, he had the kind of the blessing of Jeff Gordon, like Oprah Winfrey. It's like getting her in your book club. But we'll see how many partners he has today racing around with him.
Well, it's a different kind of racing today. It's all about the driver. You got to have last week had to have a fast car. This week you got to have a fast driver.
All right, we're counting it down to the start of the race here from Phoenix. And coming up, what happens when baseball and NASCAR mix? Michael Waltrip pays a visit to the White Sox spring training camp. Imagine him and Ozzie Guillen jawing with each other. You're watching NASCAR on Fox, the pre-race show, delivered by Pizza Hut. NASCAR on Fox pre-race show is delivered by Pizza Hut. Rev it up with all your favorite pizzas at low prices. Your favorites, your Pizza Hut. And here's a look above as we go from the White Sox spring training field to the racetrack. The Cactus League is in play as we welcome you back to our pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut. Well, in Arizona this week, when you say splitter, you could be talking baseball or NASCAR. And that's what they were doing when the drivers of Michael Waltrip's race team, Martin Truex Jr. and David Rudiman, visited the Chicago White Sox at their spring training home in the nearby town of Glendale.
Sir, hello, good to see you. How you doing? How's it going? Welcome. Have fun. Appreciate you having me.
Kick some ass.
Yeah, I'm ready.
There we go. Keep it, man. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Don't be putting no bad habits in, all right?
I don't have any of them.
Don't worry. It's got enough for you and me both.
I don't know if his glove can catch. And you gave me an unbroken in one, too.
Yeah, this one's a little stiff.
Well, here, buddy. Hey.
Hey, use this gamer. Use this gamer.
Absolutely. You want the gamer? You got the gamer.
Hey, everybody, have a uniform. You got to run. Hey, let's go. You got to run.
Martin, how's it going, man? Oh.
What?
You're not Martin, are you?
No, Mark. How you doing?
Dave Ruderman.
Nice to meet you. Good.
I got confused. You got Martin's number. He's got your number.
Yeah, he's out here. He's got my number.
He's got your number?
When I'm out there, it's his number.
Yeah, well, you know where he's at?
He's right over there.
Over there?
I'd rather be hitting than driving. It's more safe hitting. You get hit by pitch, nothing gonna happen. You get hit by car. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh. Yeah, how you like it? How you like it?
Man, you know what I love most is the way you treat us. Made us feel like we're part of the team.
Thank you for coming. Don't disappear. They like you guys here.
Well, what's more difficult, to go 200 miles an hour in a car or hit a fastball at 100 miles an hour?
Well, we know that those guys can hit a car. I'm just not real sure about a fastball. That's maybe a little bit too fast for them, Jeff.
Drivers are athletes.
They are. Hand and eye coordination, very important.
Best hand-eye coordination in NASCAR?
I'd say I've heard Denny Hamlin.
All right. Speaking of drivers, let's check out our Pizza Hut prediction and who's going to win the race. We get all of you guys involved after week one. Slow start. We'll readjust the point standings. Let's go up to the booth, get Larry and Mike's thoughts. Mike, Larry?
2 wins and a second in his last 3 starts, and he broke the track record again yesterday. Carl Edwards comes in here as the favorite.
Well, he did it Bristol last year. I think he's going to do it again. It's all about Wild Thing. A little clean sweep here at Phoenix. Kyle Busch.
All right, we'll catch up to you guys in a minute. Jeff, your thought?
I need to rebound a little bit right now, and I'm looking for a guy who understands this racetrack, and I think he's got a little momentum. 14, Tony Stewart.
How many points you got, Jeff?
I don't need to. Well, better than 0.
Look. I got Denny Hamlin today. I tell you what, he's looking for some redemption. A lot of people think he lost the championship right here last year. Today he gets started on a new year.
All right, you can log on to foxsports.com/Pizza Hut. Vote for your favorite driver. Win today. Win a trip to next year's Daytona 500. Be sure to keep an eye out for updates during the race and see who you, the fans, voted as the Pizza Hut favorite fan driver. Coming up, an all-new edition of Gas and Go. And DW, why in the world is he all revved up? Well, if you stay tuned, you'll find out. A picturesque scene here in Arizona, Rattlesnake Hill, nearby Monument Hill, and they're ready to roll around the track as we welcome you back to the NASCAR on Fox pre-race show, delivered by Pizza Hut. In time for Gas and Go. I ask questions, they deliver the answers. These have been locked away, these questions, with Justin Bieber's barber. Okay, there you go. You're on the clock, Darrell. Is Carl Edwards the favorite to end Jimmy Johnson's championship reign?
I think he sent a strong message at the end of last year, winning the 2 races. He goes to Daytona, he finishes second, comes here in a point leader. He's on the pole. He's got the power.
All right, Jeff, for you, all right, this is a question about Denny Hamlin. Last year, his second place finish for the championship. Was that a mirage?
No, I don't think it was a mirage, but I think he's going to have a difficult time doing that again unless he picks the pace up starting today. He lost the championship at this race, I think, a year ago. He needs to do something about it to turn it around.
That's in the back of his mind. Dale Earnhardt Jr., he has won at Phoenix before, but we know it's been 94 races without a win. Does he end the streak before it hits 100?
I tell you, they're struggling, and I am shocked at the Hendrick cars qualifying as poorly as they did here at a track that Jimmy Johnson has owned, one of his teammates. He's driving a former Jeff Gordon car. Jeff almost won this race here last year. Don't know what's going on. Could be an aero thing with the new nose.
Yes or no?
No.
Sounds like no. Thank you for helping out. All right, for both of you, does Kevin Harvick recover his worst career finish? 42nd last week. Does he recover?
I think he will. This is a good racetrack for Kevin, and I think they've got a good game plan today. He knows he'd like to win this race, but he needs to score a solid top 5 finish.
He bounces back, in your opinion?
Well, I think he does.
Okay.
He's too hard to keep down. I think that's a good pick.
All right, thanks for playing along with Gas and Go. All right, now each week, this is a new segment on the show. We're excited about this. We're going to give Darrell Waltrip, our 3-time NASCAR champ, DW, a chance, a platform to vent, compliment, or critique. So, Darrell, what's on your mind? What has you revved up?
Folks, let me ask you something. Did you enjoy that racing last week? Was that not the most exciting racing you've ever seen? What about that finish? Young kid wins it out of nowhere. History was made. Old guy, new guy. I love what happened last week, and here's my message to anybody that wants to mess with what we saw last week. Like Billy Joel said, don't go changing. I love you just the way you are. Leave it alone.
All right, and we love you just the way you are.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hey, who would play you in a movie? Oscar Sunday, right? Who would be?
Oh, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. All right. How about you?
I'll settle for Jeff Bridges right now. He's looking pretty good in True Grit.
Not bad. I was thinking more like Russell Crowe and Jim Carrey. All right, Daryl's going to head up to the play-by-play booth with Larry and Mike, and Jeff and I eventually will get to the Hollywood Hotel, and we will get you ready for the start of the race here in Phoenix. We're glad you're watching the NASCAR on Fox pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut. Glad you're watching NASCAR on Fox as we get ready to roll the Subway Fresh Fit 500. More than 70,000 gathering here in the desert for the second of 36 points races. Let's head down to the track for opening ceremonies. It's NASCAR on Fox.
Rise or remove your hats as the Luke Air Force Base Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Phoenix International Raceway Chaplain Ken Bowers offers today's invocation.
Thank you, Father, for allowing us to join you here on a perfect Sunday in Arizona at Phoenix International Raceway. Thank you, O Lord, for the exuberance of youth and for the wisdom of maturity. We pray, O Lord, you will bless us with a safe race today, and may we all say together, thank you very much. In your name we pray, and everyone said, Amen.
Please welcome Golden Globe nominated actress, well known for her role in The Phantom of the Opera and currently starring in Showtime's original television series Shameless, Emmy Rossum, as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, Apollo, Carl, Jeff, Jared, nice to see you out at the race. What's going on here?
I'm telling these guys, I'm running the New York City Marathon, so we're talking about how important a nutritious breakfast is before you start your training.
I'm talking about pancakes covered in syrup and butter.
No, Jeff, we're not talking about that kind of breakfast. The guy wouldn't be able to run 2 miles on that, all right? He's got to eat healthy. We're talking about these fresh fit ingredients like their breakfast sandwiches. I mean, my favorite, the Black Forest egg and ham omelet footlong.
Plus, Carl was telling me about Subway's to-go sandwiches, which are nutritious and quick. So for lunch, that's what I use to fuel up and get ready for training.
I mean, just look what a healthy breakfast and lunch gave me the power to do.
Wow, that's cool. Maybe we could put Hammond's face and he could jump across the Grand Canyon or a tanning booth.
Right, come on, man.
It's all right, Jeff. Chris just kids you because he cares.
And it was a nice gathering. A little awkward, though. Nice meeting Apollo when Jeff Hammond said to Apollo, congratulations on being the first guy to land on the moon. Anyway, we're glad you're with us for the Subway Fresh Fit 500. And Carl Edwards, who happens to be on the pole, you just saw moments ago, 2 career wins from the pole. The last one coming right here at Phoenix. And you know about Jimmy Johnson's success here. We've actually had 4 different winners in the last 4 races here. So we could expect anything once the cars get rolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the most decorated American Winter Olympian and Dancing with the Stars champion, Apollo Anton Ono, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Back in the Hollywood Hotel with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers will enjoy the race with you. Let's go upstairs to Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and outside before they jump into the booth, Mike Joy. Lights, camera. What kind of action today, Mike?
Well, a lot of wind up here, to be sure, Chris, but we move from the excitement of Daytona to the emotion of short track racing here in the desert at Phoenix, Darrell.
Well, yeah, and by the way, when Apollo said, I want to reach up and start my engine, man, that was exciting. But one thing about last week, you kept hearing the crew chief spotter saying, keep your cool, be patient, be patient. Throw that out the window today. But the one thing you got to keep control of today is your emotions. A lot of tight racing, going to be a lot of pushing and shoving. People are going to cut you off. You got to take care of the car, not lose your temper and run over somebody. Got to stay cool all day long.
Easier said than done. Last week at Daytona, if a driver was on your rear bumper, he was your friend. He was trying to help you go faster. This week at Phoenix, that's gone, because if he's on your bumper, you're trying to hold him up, he's going to get aggravated. He's going to think about, I'm going to bump this guy and get him out of my way.
Short track racing.
All right, thanks, Dan,
on the 1 mile Phoenix International Raceway. Get set to enjoy NASCAR on Fox.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 is sponsored by Subway Restaurants, the official training restaurants of Carl Edwards. Subway, eat fresh.
Hi, I'm Apollo Ono. I'd like to welcome you to today's Subway Fresh Fit 500. Big days start with a better breakfast, so flavorize and shine with the bold breakfast flavors only at Subway. Now it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's race, live on Fox.
And it's hey now, here we go. Gonna get a little bit sideways.
Ready to race on a breezy but sunny day in the Arizona desert. High in the 60s yesterday. It won't hit that today. The fans will be a little chilly, but they're going to see some great racing action. This race is brought to you by Budweiser, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, fast finish. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Mark Martin and Trevor Bayne at the ready. Let's have a look at today's Subway starting grid. Carl Edwards won here from the pole. Kurt Busch won in 05 from the outside of the front row. Kyle's won it all this weekend, and Casey Kane his best start here. Joey Logano, Regan Smith, both had great runs at Daytona. Jamie Mack with Martin Truex. Brad Keselowski with Greg Biffle, who was 4th here in November. Those are your top 10 as you look down through the grid. Darrell, who are we going to dial up today?
I think we'll talk to Carl Edwards. What do you say? Hey, Carl, it's DW, buddy. You got a copy?
I got you, man. How's it going?
It's going good. First thing I need to know, Carl, is what did you have for breakfast this morning?
That's a Black Forest ham and cheese omelet footlong.
Roger that. I figured that's what you'd say. Hey, got a fast forward sitting on the pole. Got some hungry hounds all around you. Can you hold them off?
I think we can. You know, there's still a lot to be seen, though, here. The track's green. The weather's changed. You know, this Subway Ford's fast, and the key will be being fast at the end. So we got Bob Osborne up there on the box. I think he's the best guy to have in that position to adapt. So hopefully we can be there at the end.
Yesterday you had a great race. You expect that to be your competition again today with Kyle?
Yeah, I think it's, there'll be a few guys. I think it's tough to pick one guy, but Kyle was real fast in practice. I think he'll be tough. I learned a lot yesterday racing with him. I learned a lot about my car and about how to race somebody around here. So hopefully I can apply that. But man, I'm just ready to go racing. This track is a blast. The last time we get to race on this surface, we got a good chance at winning. So it's fun.
All right, I know you're fit. Get up on the wheel. Show us something.
All right, 10-4. Thanks a lot. You guys have a good broadcast.
Thanks, Daryl. Here is a look at Phoenix International Raceway. They're going to repave and reconfigure this track after today's race. It has an old surface. You can see some of the crack seal that's been put down there to help preserve it. And it has one of the most unique pit roads in the business that curves around like a field hockey stick down towards turn 1. Here is a look at pit road, and they pit not just down the straightaway, but all the way around there into turn 1. Matt Yoakum.
Mike, I talked to Kyle Busch this morning. He told me his phrase for the day, reach his potential. He starts fourth, chasing 3. Third straight race win this weekend. If he pulls that off, he'll tie that mark that he set back at Bristol. But I told him if he leads 51 laps today and goes to victory lane, he'll have a better lap-led percentage. So he leaned over to the guy he's most concerned about, Carl Edwards. Said, you hear that, Carl? I've got to lead the final 51 laps to make history. He says he's got a great race car. We'll have to wait and see. Steve Burns?
Well, Matt, young Joey Logano has a good starting position. I talked to his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli. Now, Greg is concerned about the temperatures being a lot cooler than what they anticipated here. The reason is, with lower temperatures, speeds will increase, and Greg Zipadelli thinks it might be tough on brakes today. In fact, a competition yellow on lap 40. Dick Berggren.
Well, Denny Hamlin almost won the race here last fall, led the most laps, but when it came down to crunch time, he ran short on fuel, had to pit when others didn't, lost the race, and some think the championship as well. He has the same car today. We have a new fueling system and a new ethanol blend fuel, and nobody knows how that's all going to work out. Let's go to Chris Devona.
Dick, normally sitting in this exact spot is Kevin Harvick's wife, Delana. But just like you, she's watching NASCAR on Fox from home. She's at home taking care of the couple's dog, Indy, who underwent disc surgery. And you know she is up on the edge of her seat because her husband is fantastic at this racetrack. He swept the races here in 2006. Mike?
Thanks, everybody. 2 to go. And we'll be ready to race. Our Daytona 500 winner, Trevor Bayne, starting deep in this field after having to go to a backup car. There is the pointer showing him in 33rd starting position for the Wood brothers.
Just quickly, an explanation on the 40-lap competition yellow, because we had weather here last night, a lot of rain, washed all the rubber off the track. Going to give him a chance to look at the tires.
And that's what Carl Edwards meant about a green racetrack. We've had 2 days of rubber going down on it. With the rains we had, it's all gone now.
Going green with NASCAR on Fox. A few things to look at here today. This track definitely has a short track feel. You're going to have to keep up with the racetrack with that sun dipping low in turn number 1 and the changing surface. That means keeping your tempers and your brakes cool enough to move your way up through the field. And on that last pit stop, take a chance. Maybe a contrary strategy to what everybody else is doing on that last stop will be the way to get to victory lane today.
One thing that goes with that competition caution that Steve Burns talked about on lap 40, if we have a caution and you need to pit prior to that, you can change tires, do whatever, but you can't fuel the car until that caution right there at lap 40.
And one thing we're going to have to deal with, these drivers is the sun in their eyes coming down the front straightaway here. And if you can already see on Carl Edwards' car right there, he is anticipating that sun to be a problem. He's really got that windshield tape way, way down.
A lot of tape there on the inside of the windshield. This 1 mile speedway will see 500 kilometers of racing today in the Subway Fresh Fit 500. That's 312 laps on the mile. 45 on pit road. The pace car runs 50. They'll need fuel every 70 to 80 laps. Only one car failed to make the field. Brian Keselowski was the one car bounced in qualifying yesterday. Race 2 of the Sprint Cup season for 2011 ready to get rolling in the desert.
Grouped up nicely behind the pace car here as they come off turn 4, anticipating the green flag. Hold them. Green flag in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in the desert, boys.
Kurt Busch got a great launch off turn 2. The double deuce looks to lead lap 1. And here comes Kyle and Carl right behind him.
Darrell, I'm a little surprised on the start of the race that Carl Edwards, he has the option, that he didn't take the outside, because it's like you can get it wound up more and get the launch down the back straightaway.
He probably will next time. Probably learned a little something there. That outside's usually a little quicker.
For the first time in the last 307 laps of competition on this racetrack this weekend, Kyle Busch was not the leader. Jamie Mack, Regan Smith, and Greg Biffle battle. This is for 7.
Speaking of Kyle leading, yesterday in yesterday's race, he led 200 laps of 200 laps.
And Carl Edwards ran second, 200 of 200 laps.
Trevor Bayne on the move. That's Glendale native Michael McDowell on the inside in the 66. Bill Elliott in the 09.
I think Trevor's going to be under a lot of pressure today, Larry, just to keep his car clean and not have any issues. He had trouble in practice on Friday, had trouble yesterday in yesterday's race. He just wants to get a race under his belt after that big Daytona win.
His goal today, a top 15 finish. Kevin Harvick, teammate Clint Boyer in the 33, and Jeff Gordon for 15.
First time I saw that Jimmy John's on his car, I thought he had Jimmy Johnson on his car. And if you recall, he said that he put 4848 in his password in his cell phone because he wanted to constantly be reminded of the guy he was going to try to knock off the throne this year.
Kurt Busch has led 5 of the last 6 Phoenix races. His younger brother wants the lead, not this time. But down in turn 1, Kyle has the inside line, and he's the new leader.
Looks like Kurt in the 22 tried to do the crossover through 1 and 2, but I think his brother Kyle in the 18 will prevail.
Single file through the first 15 or so. A little bit of gaps here and there, but Carl Edwards now looking over Kurt Busch for 2nd place.
Some of the Toyota guys were telling me that because Kyle has run in all 3 races here this weekend, he's got so much information that he's actually been sharing it with all the Toyota teams. Probably saved a little bit of something for himself, though.
2nd is the battle, and Kurt Busch is giving Edwards the inside. Takes it.
One thing I don't think we'll hear about or hear even on our broadcast, unlike Daytona, I don't think you'll hear drivers talking to each other. And each spotter will be taking care of their driver. Yeah, teammates may talk to each other under caution, but not during racing.
Probably what you'll hear is somebody will say, well, you tell so-and-so spotter to tell so-and-so, because he doesn't want to get on the radio and talk to him himself.
Yes, no co-opetition here between competitors, no frenemies on the racetrack. Jamie Mack is up to 6th, started 8th in the number 1. Martin Truex running 7th, right where he started.
Guys are kind of like a bunch of 6 years old today. I'll do it myself.
Denny Hamlin's number 11 has moved into the top 10. There's Hamlin, who dominated this race a year ago, just didn't win it. Led, what, 190 laps?
Yeah, I felt like this would be a good measuring stick for this 11 team, Denny Hamlin, because as you mentioned, here in November, they led 190 of the 312 laps, had to pit for fuel late in the race, and that's kind of when the wheel ran off of their championship efforts. They had a good race car at Daytona, but they just never capitalized on it. This is where they need to step it up.
They certainly had their share of trouble at Daytona. I know they're glad to be back here. Even though they didn't win this race last year, I think this is where they're going to get some redemption. They're going after them today.
Everyone chasing Kyle Busch. That's been the story of the weekend here in Phoenix. Welcome Welcome back to the Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox. Carl Edwards at lap 16 took over the lead from Kyle Busch. Down the front straightaway.
A little bit of a courtesy there. Kyle cut Carl off a little bit, and then going into turn one, he said, okay, you're a little quicker, go on by.
Let's have a look at the UPS logistics of the race, beginning with keeping up with the racetrack, which will change several times today due to sunshine and temperature.
And the main thing is don't cook your tire, mainly that right front tire, but it comes from overworking the brakes.
And just whatever you do, don't lose your cool. And you can do that with a lap car. You can get wrecked trying to pass a lap car. Keep your emotions under control.
Carl Edwards, the pole sitter and track record holder last November, broke his own track record here yesterday, and now he has taken the lead.
Just touched the wall coming up forward just a little bit with the right rear. That was close right there too. Just taking care of it here now, buddy. You're 12 laps in.
We're under caution for debris. First caution of the day. And it comes out on lap 20.
As I said at the top of the show, you can pit during this caution. You just cannot fuel the car into that competition caution at lap 40.
NASCAR informed the drivers in their weekly meeting about the competition caution. But should the caution come out somewhere just prior to lap 40, NASCAR will go ahead and designate that as the official competition yellow. And it's all because of heavy rains here last night and into the early morning. Fortunately, it's been windy, so the track dried very quickly, and we're ready to race on time today. Before we have pit stops, Krista.
Mike, want to give you an update on Casey Kane. He actually, back on lap 14, said it's the loosest his car had been in, but he said it's cutting pretty good, and he knows the track is going to change. Matt?
And Kyle Busch very pleased with the race car. Now, Dave Rogers' game plan for his first run to the competition caution was to play it conservative because it's a green racetrack, and they did see a little bit of wear on that right front tire in the first practice session. And then Kyle said that the car was starting to lose the nose down in 3 and 4, and then he was going to play it conservative himself. They're talking about what air pressure change to try to fix his race car so it's a rocket on the next run. Steve?
Well, Matt, the 22 car, Kurt Busch at the wheel, they contemplated coming in, but at the last second, they've decided to stay out until the competition yellow on lap 40. When they do come in, they're going to take air out of the left side tires to help Kurt Busch. Dick?
Well, Carl Edwards is planning to come in and take 4 tires. That's the call by Bob Osborne, his crew chief. He'll be able to stop exceptionally well. They have a completely brand new brake package in all of the Roush Fenway cars, including the one in the lead today.
Larry, we're only 20 laps in. You know you're getting a caution in another 20 laps. Do you want to stop now?
You know, if I'm at the front of the field, I would be hesitant about coming in. I think I'd keep the track position. If you're at the back of the field, maybe what you do is come get your tires now, and maybe at lap 40, all you'll need to do is fuel, maybe just right side tires.
I like the way you're thinking there, crew chief.
We're told that Jeff Gordon's scoring transponder is not working. They will replace that when he comes to pit road. Kurt Busch stays out along with Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart, and others, but most of the cars do come to pit road.
I did notice on the 99 car, Carl Edwards, he has made a slight contact with the right rear against the wall.
Tires for Casey Kane and for Kyle Busch.
Looks like everyone that came to pit road, you see Kevin Harvick here in the 29. They're going with 4 tires. Joey Logano in the 20.
Four tires for the pole sitter. Now some of those that got quick service are out quicker. No free pass on this, the first caution of the day in Phoenix. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, by the new 2011 Ford F-150 built Ford tough, and by GoDaddy.com domains, websites, and everything in between.
24 laps complete. Let's explain on Jeff Gordon. He made his regular pit stop, came out, got his place in line, made a second pit stop to replace that scoring transponder because that was an official stop and not a team pit stop. They gave him his position back in line for the restart, which is 11th. Joe Nemechek is the first car in the garage out of the race, unsponsored this week. Joe starting parks and heads for Las Vegas. Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart, Brian Vickers are the front five as we get ready to restart.
Going to have some comers and goers here. New tires versus old tires. We'll see how this works out.
Green flag. Three wide, mid-corner, turn 2. This could get sticky.
Ooh, it did.
And a big part of that is some drivers with 4 fresh tires, some drivers with no tires from the start of the race.
And who was way out there 3 wide? Kyle Busch.
He loves those restarts, man. That's when he gets a bunch of them normally.
Denny Hamlin looking for the lead, harassing Kurt Busch as they go to turn 1. Among those who did not stop, Trevor Bayne, the Daytona 500 winner, the rookie, running in 8th. Brian Vickers on the inside of Truex. Truex in 3rd behind Busch and Hamlin. About to lose that spot to Vickers. Maybe, maybe not. Wow, it gets thick back here. That's J.J. Yaley, the 46 up on the outside.
That's a wad right there.
Dale Jr. through the middle, Rudeman on the bottom on the apron to keep from contact.
You just don't want to get wadded up.
In J.J. Yaley in that 46, he was one of those 10 cars that did not come to pit road that time.
Daytona and the bump drafting style of racing there is but a memory. Montoya way up high in the corner in the 42, the target car, and right in the middle of it, David Gilliland in the 34, the 3rd place finisher in Daytona.
One thing you got to be careful of, even though we don't have a lot of rubber and stuff on the racetrack, what debris and stuff there is on the tracks right up on that outside. I think that Juan Montoya back in there got a lot of debris on his tires, really cost him a lot of spots.
Montoya's backed up to 35th. Kyle Busch in the middle again, 3 wide. Matt?
Mike, he's back in 20th, and there was some debate on the team radio whether to stay out for track position or pit for the 4 tires. This is recent team communication from Busch and crew chief Dave Rogers.
That is something we got to get better at. We have got to make decisions quicker, man. We can't be listening and scanning everybody all the time. We have to have our own game plan.
I like what he said, and that's good. That's good constructive criticism for his crew chief. This is like running a Martinsville short track Bristol. You got to know what you're going to do before we get to turn 4.
And Darrell, what I think Kyle Busch was trying to tell Dave Rogers is you're listening to other teams to make your decision. Make your own decision.
For the lead, Denny Hamlin on the inside of Kurt Busch. And Hamlin picking up where he left off last November with his Joe Gibbs Toyota out front.
Yeah, I think that's how. I think he knew how important it would be for track position. We'll see how this works out when we get the next yellow flag.
Denny Hamlin, short tracker from Richmond area of Virginia, got up against the back bumper of Kurt Busch, moved him over just a little bit and took the lead.
Yeah, that 22 was a little tail happy, and Denny was right there to take advantage of it. Don't know that he necessarily hit him, but he sure did get him loose.
Jimmy Johnson started deep in the field, 28th. He is up to 10th. Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle nose to tail just in front of him, 8th and 9th. Johnson splits the middle. Boyer inside on the high side. That's Ryan Newman. And Newman gets a good drive off the corner. They're going to leave Johnson in their wake.
That's a good thing about that turn 2.
Trouble turn 2. Logano, or is it Robbie Gordon goes around? Robbie Gordon.
You're good.
Hold it right there, buddy.
All good.
Second yellow flag of the day. This one comes at lap 34.
You're good. Pace star's just rolling. You're all good.
Robbie Gordon, who won here in an Indy-type car in 1995.
Got tires down on the right side. I guess that's from the spin. He's going to have a really tough time getting back to the pit road without tearing something up.
See what happened to the number 7 here, Darrell. There he is right alongside Logano.
Right down here on the bottom. That's the 7 car. Oh, he pushes up, gets clipped just a little bit by
that's Ambrose.
Ambrose, and that got him loose. And to keep from running into Joey Logano, he had to spin out. He being the 7 car of Robbie Gordon.
34 laps complete, and NASCAR has informed the teams this will be the competition caution as Robbie Gordon goes for a ride.
Guess everybody will come this time, Larry. Look at this. Isn't this a great shot?
Fox extreme slow motion, or Exmo cam, picks up all that travel as he goes from asphalt to grass. Pit road's a busy place. Krista.
Yeah, Brian Vickers is one of the cars who did not come in before, so he chooses to now. He needs a little bit of drivability off of 1 and 2. It's a 4-tire change for Brian.
Kurt Busch in the 22 says he feels like he's on banana peels. They'll drop air on the left side tires, Dick.
Denny Hamlin is in for a pit stop as well, taking 4 tires. Matt.
And the service already complete, Dick, on the 18 of Kyle Busch. Besides the 4 tires, they also had to pull out the fender, a little bit of damage cosmetically at about the 11 o'clock position.
Well, this is going to be an interesting restart because the 2 hometown heroes, along with 2 other drivers, did not pit. We'll update you when we come back.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buns.
Those 4 drivers I mentioned who did not stop the first time around did stop the next time by. So now getting ready for green, Carl Edwards, Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, Jeff Burton, Brad Keselowski, Regan Smith.
These are all cars that took 4 tires that last caution, 2 tires this caution. Now Clint Boyer in that 33, he wants the lead of this thing.
Tell you that 99 and the 22, they got some smoke up the back straightaway there. They get it on.
Carl Edwards holds them off, and they're 3 wide coming through the field. Denny Hamlin makes contact as Rudiman and the 27 of Paul Menard works the outside. Kyle Busch sliding back. Something's happened to the 18.
He got in the wall over there off turn 2 pretty hard. He's trying to make that real high line off of 2 over there work, and they're forcing him into that outside wall a lot of times. I don't see a lot of damage on the car, though. It looks pretty clean.
Battling with Earnhardt Jr. And Jimmy Johnson. And look at the tire rub on Paul Menard on the left front of the 27. Let's show you what happened to Kyle Busch. Watch the 18.
Here he is, up here on the outside, and he just gets higher, 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 and Kevin Harvick forces him up. Little bit of contact, not as much as I thought. No damage.
Just really not enough racetrack to be trying to run 3 wide on the exit of that corner.
And it's still real dirty up there. I mean, if there's no rubber in the groove, imagine what it's like when you get that high.
J.J. Yaley on pit road with the hood up. Let's show you the replay of what happened to Robbie Gordon to bring out that caution, and you'll hear Gordon's reaction. Watch the number 7, the orange car. Contact.
Who did that? You didn't. It's like you just jumped back in the gas. It broke loose. Nobody touched you, bud.
They hit me in the right rear corner and drove me to the inside.
Robbie was right. He got just a little bump from Marcus Ambrose in the 9.
Now Robbie is 1 lap down, back in the 39th position in that 7 car.
Joe Nemechek, Dave Blaney in the garage. J.J. Yaley is being pushed there. And Joey Logano spent some extra time on pit road during that caution. Why, Steve?
Well, Mike, I just asked the car chief, Jason Shapiro, if he'd lost a cylinder, because that's what it sounds like. He said, I don't want to use a drag racing term, but it's internal, and it sounds like it's mixing cylinders.
It sounds like it broke a rocker arm, something in the engine itself, which if that's all it is, it'll run all day. Now, if it's a lot worse than that, we'll find out soon. We're looking for smoke. Not a happy camper. Whoa.
Steve. Steve?
Yeah, guys, you just heard some of the audio. The next thing they said to Joey was it's either a valve spring or a rocker arm, and Zippy said, there's nothing we can do for you. Sorry, man.
Well, I was watching the RPM, and to me, that's the telltale sign. These things should be turning probably over 9,500. His can't quite even get to 9,000.
I just think even we saw it at Daytona, we're seeing it here again today. The weather's cool, the track's fast. We set track records. I think they're just asking these engines to do a whole lot more than maybe they are capable of doing. You're going to have some part failures when you're pushing it this hard.
Mark Martin leading Greg Biffle and Ryan Newman. Newman was the quickest of the Hendrick powered cars in this race. He started 14th, now running 19th.
That car, Mark Martin's, he has damage on the right front. He had been into somebody pretty seriously when they came down pit road. Sure, they worked on it.
Based on your vote, the Pizza Hut fan favorite today is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's see how he's doing. He's currently 27th. Jr. was the fan favorite last week, polling 53% of the total vote. So make sure you tweet your vote for your favorite, and we'll keep you up on how he's doing throughout the day. Last time around, Brad Keselowski in the deuce, and Jeff Gordon's 24.
Pardon me, coming through.
That's how you pass on a track like this. Got to make a little bit of aggressive move to get that guy out of your way. You don't mean to wreck him, you just want to move him.
So unlike Daytona, here at Phoenix, if you're the best pusher, as Regan Smith was last week, here, if you're the best pusher, everybody's mad at you.
Oh yeah, and if you push too much, the next thing you're going to hear is cautions out.
But you know, looking at Jeff Gordon in that 24 car.
Oh, Trevor Baynes in the wall. Oh my goodness. Last week's Daytona 500 winner in a backup car has a hard bounce off the wall here in Phoenix.
Yeah, this is the, well, you never need to wreck a car, but today he just needed a clean race no matter where he finished.
Front straightaway, watch the white and red car across the line.
He tries to get back in line right there, and there just was not quite enough room.
Travis Quapple, the 38 car, was trying to squeeze back up in front of.
Now the Wood brothers are not running for points in the Sprint Cup Series. Wonder if they'll try to repair this car as Trevor Baynes in the fence. Pretty hard.
That'd be pretty hard to repair with that much rear damage. You'd have to have a frame machine to fix that.
Let's ride along with the rookie from Knoxville.
Looking outside here. Hold on to it.
I'm not sure if the spotter just didn't give him enough warning or if they thought it was enough room for him to get in.
Pit road is open. Carl Edwards leads them down pit road. Krista.
Clint Boyer decided to take 2 tires on the last stop, so this time they will come in to get 4. Clint said he was a little loose on the last run. Now he's a little loose everywhere, so expect a small track bar adjustment also. Dick?
Well, Carl Edwards told his crew what we all have seen so far today, that he has a very good car. He's coming in for a 4-tire change, and he's got nobody in front of him. It's an easy out, Matt Yoakum.
And Jeff Gordon says his car is absolutely awesome. We're going to go along with it today. 4 tires and a slight change just to keep up with the racetrack.
Martin Truex first off pit road. Jamie Mack, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, Kyle Busch, the big winners there. Trevor Bayne, the Daytona 500 champion, hard into the wall here in Phoenix.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 is sponsored by Subway Restaurants, the official training restaurant of Carl Edwards. Subway, eat fresh. By the new Chevy Silverado HD, Motor Trend's 2011 Truck of the Year. By Cobalt, the next generation of tough tools. And by AT&T, rethink possible.
53 laps complete in Phoenix. We're under caution as you look at our aerial coverage today, provided by Subway. "37 cars on the lead lap. 10 lead changes among 7 leaders. We're working the 3rd caution of the day, and this one came out when Trevor Bayne clipped Travis Kvapil trying to move up into the high groove and got into the front straightaway wall.
Getting all kinds of strategy here. Basically, the top 9 cars stayed out. Then about the next 9 or 10 behind that group went with 2 right side tires only. So we're, with all these cautions coming about every 15, 20 laps, getting a mixed bag of strategy here.
Been watching that 18 car off of the 2 over there having trouble. He said, I hope when they reconfigure this thing, they move that wall. He needs it.
Penske Racing teammates on the front row for the restart. In yellow, Kurt Busch. In blue, Brad Keselowski. And behind them, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Brian Vickers, Casey Kane, Greg Biffle, Marcus Ambrose. Here we go. Of the top 10 right now, only 1 pitted on that caution. Here comes Stewart looking for 3rd, 3 wide. He's going to get it as Keselowski in the deuce falls back a bit.
Well, look at that. Marcus Ambrose down there on the inside in that 9 car. That's the first time we've seen him up near the front today.
Big pack out of turn 4. Time for a Fox crank it up. It's busy. Watch Trevor Bayne in that 38. He is right, Travis Kvapil, who got into Trevor Bayne. Was not Kvapil's fault, but now he did not pit, and he's trying to work his way back through this pack of cars with fresh tires, and it's just a logjam.
Yeah, he had that whole group right there, especially Clint Boyer in that 33 car. Look at Edwards. He ran all the way across the rumble.
Trouble, around goes Kane.
Spinning behind you. Nice and easy.
Kevin Harvick in that 29.
Edwards is in the wall. Jeff Gordon, I don't know if Jeff got in the wall or not.
Yeah, I don't know how much damage there, Gil.
I believe Jeff Gordon got some damage too.
A chain reaction collision. And Carl Edwards will go to the garage to repair that damage. Let's see how this starts.
Carl
toward the front.
Yeah, I think Carl gets forced down on the curbing back here. Oh, he makes contact with the 18 car, Kyle Busch. That drives Carl into the dirt. Parts start flying off of his car, and it really just backs a bunch of people up right here. Then Carl gets to the corner, and it won't turn, and he and Jeff Gordon right into the outside retaining wall.
There's the first contact
by Kyle Busch in the 18.
Wow.
Car went airborne for a second there. And look, parts flying off. It's a brake duct flying off under the 31.
38. Just hold on to it here. They're spinning behind you. Nice and easy. All right, coming.
Was not Casey Kane, it was Kevin Harvick who spun. That's the black car.
Keep coming, come on, they're just stacking up. Come on.
Watch from David Reagan. He got hit by Mark Martin.
Behind you, caution's out. Stay down low, got 2 up high, stay low.
Jeff Burton in the 31, right in the middle of all this. He got into the back of Edwards here.
You know, it looked like the 18 car of Kyle Busch was trying to spin out. And Carl was there, and Carl really straightened the 18 up and paid the price.
As did Jeff Gordon.
What's the 18 car? Well, we're past that now.
Yeah, this is Harvick going around off the bumper of Mark Martin. There's everything backed up. Wow. Under caution at 61 laps in the desert.
Top of the hour, NASCAR on Fox in Arizona, and time for an AT&T race break. And the action hot and happening early in the desert. Second race of the year following the dramatic finish of the Daytona 500. Kyle Busch passing brother Kurt Busch for the lead. What a weekend for Kyle. Carl Edwards, the pole sitter, taking the lead early. And then Kyle Busch having some trouble. Drivers a little testy early, not giving each other much room as Kyle goes into the wall. Lap 50. The winner of the Great American Race, who had a busy week, told us on the pre-race show he wanted just a top 15 and to stay out of trouble. But Trevor Bayne into the wall after starting 33rd. And then moments ago, involving Carl Edwards and at least 5 other drivers, brings out the caution and has torn up a number of race cars for some drivers hoping for a bounce-back race today. And let's check in with Matt Yoakum.
He was just working on the race car, and Carl, I walked up, he said, what exactly happened? You've seen the video, your take.
I didn't see exactly what happened. First of all, this is a car to win right here. It's unreal.
Here's another look for you.
This car is so fast. It's my opinion. Well, let me look first here. So Ryan got by Kyle right here, and I thought my first impression was Kyle was just mad and he cut down, but I think he might have got loose. I hope that's what happened, because that's too bold of a move to make early in the race. Our car is so good. It's so good, and we should have been fighting for the win for this Subway race. But I got to thank Ford, all my fans, my wife at home, and sorry to Jeff Gordon for tearing up his car. I didn't know mine wasn't going to turn into 3, but hopefully that was an inadvertent move on Kyle's part. I'll talk to him about it, and we'll deal with that accordingly.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
All right, you're up to date to the moment. The AT&T Fastest Pit Crew Award, the seasonal standings. You can text the car number for the crew you think will have the best finish on pit road to 234567. The AT&T Fastest Pit Crew Award brought to you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. Back upstairs to Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Kyle Busch will restart the last car on the lead lap, 36th place. There are only 2 cars in the garage, Blaney and Nemechek. Now watch, we'll take another look at this, Darrell. Close look at number 18 toward the front of the pack at the bottom of your screen.
Right there.
Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman right behind him.
I'm kind of like Carl. I've seen this a number of times already. Right here, Ryan gets by. And something had to happen to that 18 car to make it abrupt move like that, because that was just abrupt, like he lost control of the car.
All right, let's listen to what Kyle Busch had to say on the radio.
Yeah, we got to bring it down and at least look at it. All we're doing is being a ping pong ball back here, man. It's pathetic.
Kyle was used to leading. He led all 200 laps in yesterday's race and the last 107 laps of Friday's truck race. So being in the back is new to him this weekend.
It's like ever since on that first caution about lap 21 or 22 when they came to pit road to put 4 tires on, they just keep working their way at the back, and you get in trouble back there, just like he just told Dave Rogers.
Well, you heard me say he said to hope when they redo the track they'll move that wall. That wall off of 2 is giving him a fit, and that was a little bit of the factor in what happened there.
The Roush Fenway team will have a lot of work to do to replace the front splitter on the left side on Carl Edwards' car as we get ready to go back to green. Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, Marcus Ambrose, Matt Kenseth, Brian Vickers, then Kane, Truex, Biffle, Keselowski, and Hamlin. Here we go. Around goes Vickers.
Oh no, another one.
Low. Watch me, both sides. Come on.
Oh, this is wiping out half the field.
This is a big one on the backstretch at Phoenix.
Look at that.
Brian Vickers got sideways and then was perpendicular to the field. There's his silver car up against the wall.
My goodness.
Jamie McMurray, part of the pileup. Bobby Labonte, after a great Daytona 500 with front end damage.
Let's see if we can
Jeff
see.
Burton,
Look at Burton.
all torn up. Darrell, let's take one look here. Clint Boyer's just gone to the garage.
There's Brian Vickers out here, and again off turn 2, he gets turned around. Looked like he may have got hit by the 56. Nowhere to go.
All right, we'll sort it out after this.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is sponsored by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
A look at some of the past Phoenix winners, including Jeff Gordon, who tied Dale Earnhardt's win mark and saluted Dale with that number 3 flag. 13 cars have piled up in the back straightaway at lap 66 here. There is a list of the cars involved, some of whom have already made it back to the garage, some under their own power, some not. We're going to take a look at the start of this one, and it begins at Brian Vickers and his number 83 Toyota. You see Vickers right there on the outside of Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, the first time I saw this, I thought when he got sideways that maybe the 56 got into him, but I don't think he did now. I think it was just from Matt getting into the 83 of Vickers and getting him loose. And it's, you know, we've seen cars have trouble off of 2 over there. It must be really slick up high.
Now we'll look at Martin Truex's in-car, which will show you that he did not get into Vickers.
Yeah.
Until Vickers was already sideways. A little contact there with Matt Kenseth.
You're all clear, man. All clear all the way down. Big crash behind you. Big crash.
Yeah, Martin and the 56 Truex actually did a great job of getting through that without any contact.
Got a hold. Checking up. Come on. Low. Watch me. Both sides. Come on. Go low. Good job.
Definitely threaded it through there.
Yeah, Junior did a good job, and that spotter did an awesome job.
Vickers sideways. Everybody tried to go low, but the curbing, the Dragon's Teeth down there is pretty steep, and a lot of cars bounced off that and into harm's way right there at the dogleg.
The nose on these cars are so strong. Man, look at Travis Quapple get into that wall. That's huge. But the nose on this car is so strong that when they hit that curbing with it, it launches the car.
Clear low. Stay easy. Back it up. Right in the middle of it, guys. Right in the middle of it.
On our Fox Exmo extreme slow motion camera, here's how this all got started. With Vickers getting a bit sideways after very, very slight contact from Kenseth. But Darrell, that contact comes at a point when both cars are turning and right on the edge of control.
I believe this is what happened to the 18 car, though, and Carl got in, and the 18 car got into Carl back there because of this very same thing. And Larry, on that slow-mo, is that left rear tire down?
I believe it is. I don't know if that's maybe when he got together with someone, but there's no question the left rear tire is flat on that race car.
That's exactly what happened. I believe Kenseth got into him, cut his left rear down, and that's why he couldn't recover. What's Digger going to see? Look out, Digger, look out.
Bye-bye. Everyone involved in the accident walked away from their cars and is okay. Here's Matt.
Mike, it looked like the Daytona big one here at Phoenix, simply a mess from your perspective, Clint.
Just a shame. You know, we're all better race car drivers than this. To be racing that hard this early in the race, we're all out there racing like it's our first time. You know, it's just kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you, to be wrecked this early. The Cheerios Hamburger Helper was pretty good. You know, just disgusted to be in here like this, and you know, pretty disgusted with the whole thing, to be quite honest with you.
The new point system making it even more crucial to get back out. Will you be able to get the 33 repaired and back out on the track?
Yeah, we're going to get back out, but you know, our day's done. A lot of people's day's done right there. Just you know, 2 early cautions that wipe too many cars out like that. We're all professionals, and we should be driving like it.
Thank you, Clint.
A 13-car pileup, and 4 of the top 4 finishers in last week's Daytona 500 have all crashed today. 7 of the top 10 finishers in the 500, including Bobby Labonte, have wrecked today.
But just think about Clint Boyer, that 33 car, had a great car at Daytona, was caught up in a crash. Good car today, caught up in a crash. His teammate Jeff Burton, 2 bad finishes now.
Yeah, and Regan Smith here, he was kind of one of my dark horse picks for today, and he's sitting there with a radiator busted.
And we listened in.
I think everybody still thinks they're at Daytona. I think someone just hit somebody right square in the bumper, man, and that's...
Man, that all started from the 17, running the 83 up the racetrack off at 2.
Good analysis from a fellow who may have a broken radiator there. Well, let's hear from Brian Vickers. Krista?
Yeah, Brian Vickers back here in the garage, and I know looking over every piece and part of the car, it's pretty mangled. But what are your thoughts, and what exactly happened out there?
Yeah, it was a hard hit. Hopefully we'll be able to get back out. I don't know. Matt wrecked us. He just door slammed me in the middle of the corner. I don't know what, 75 laps, 67 laps into a race. You know, it's going to come back to him.
Had you guys been racing hard up to that point?
You know, I mean, everyone's racing hard. It's, you know, everyone wants to win and do well, and track position is really important out there right now. I felt like that was pretty unnecessary to be this early in the race. I would have felt that would have been unnecessary at the end of the race, but you know, that's fine. We can come back from this. You know, the guys do a good job getting the car ready. Hopefully we'll get back out there. I hate it for the Red Bull crew. We had a really good car. Was really happy with it. We were running up front most of the race there, and felt like we could stay there.
Thanks, Brian.
Darrell, I think that's a little harsh. It was the slightest of contact, but in the worst place on the racetrack and in the worst place on that 83 car as it cut down the left rear tire.
I think that's the thing maybe he doesn't realize, Brian Vickers doesn't realize. And you can see right here, this area right there sticking out on the side of that car, that could easily cut down his left rear tire. And you can see that's the wheel mark right there.
Here's what Matt Kenseth had to say afterward.
Left enough room out there today, Mike. I mean, I know we were tight, but I thought he had plenty of room.
He didn't give you an inch there. He stayed real tight with you, and he had plenty of room to his right.
Okay, but I left enough room to the wall, right? So I was down in the middle of the corner, and he was already on me.
Two different views and one pile of carnage. 13 cars involved in this back straightaway crash. We are under the red flag as our pit reporters work the garage searching for answers. Let's go down there.
Mike, a number of different opinions. Let's check in with the mayor, Jeff Burton. For your perspective, Jeff, you know, Vickers said hard racing too early. Your teammate Clint Boyer said the same thing.
Well, I mean, I guess evidence is evidence, but, you know, I can't control other people. We can only control ourselves. And we had a really fast car today. Cat Chevrolet was smoking fast. And, you know, that's all we can hang our hat on at this point. We got to get finishes. I mean, the last 8 or 9 races for us have been horrendous. But, you know, we'll keep our heads up and keep fighting. This is a really good race team, and we were really fast today, and just you know, didn't do anything wrong, just got caught up in it.
Thank you, Jeff. Krista?
Well, Matt, another victim in this is Jamie McMurray. We've heard everyone talking about hard racing, perhaps hard racing too early. What do you think?
I think what caused the hard racing is that you had guys on no tires, some on 2, some on 4. And normally at Phoenix, you know, we get long runs and it kind of settles in, and with the cautions the way they fell, it's just everybody's on a different strategy, and there were guys at the front that weren't quite as quick as guys in the rear. But when I saw the replay of the wreck, it just looked like the 56 and 83 touched, and it cut the 83's tire down, and that really isn't anyone's fault. It's just kind of one of those deals.
We have a lot of guys back here whose faces almost look evil. You at least have a smile back here.
Well, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. It's actually, it's so early, you didn't even really break a sweat. You know, I mean, you know, it's frustrating, but there's not a lot you can do about it. I mean, we're going to try to get our car fixed and get back out there. The only fortunate part I see is there's a lot of really good cars sitting in here, and so, you know, when you view the points, I guess it got guys that you'd be racing for the chase.
Mike?
Thanks, Krista. If Carl Edwards cannot get back on track under NASCAR's new point system, he'd receive only 8 points today, 7 for his position and 1 for his win. And that's not many points to take to Las Vegas, where NASCAR on Fox heads 1 week from today.
Vegas, baby.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Viva Las Vegas, boys. In Las Vegas, when you're hot, you're hot. Show me what you got. I love it.
This is going to be exciting. Bring it on, boys.
I'm feeling like Mr. Lucky today. Things seem to be going my way.
Maybe their luck will turn next Sunday. 13 cars involved in this pileup. It is the 5th caution flag of the day. 4 different crashes involving about 17, 18 drivers in total. Let's have a look at today's Ford F-150 EcoBoost track facts. Carl Edwards broke his own track qualifying record yesterday, 137 miles an hour. Ford won 11 of the first 15 Sprint Cup races here at Phoenix, which is the home of Alan Kulwicki's famous Polish victory lap. The driver from Wisconsin wanted to do something memorable to celebrate his first victory, so he dropped the window net and did a lap of the track the wrong way around so he could wave and salute the fans. And everyone remembers the 1992 champion and his Polish victory lap.
And we were all shaking our heads. What is he doing? Because no one has ever done that before.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
And a lot of guys did it after him in honor of him.
That's right. Let's go back down to the garage. Krista.
Last week he was living what he called a fantasy. Today a little bit of a dose of reality for Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, it's definitely a humbling sport. You know, you go from one extreme to the next, but you know, we still got a great race team behind us here with the Wood brothers and Donnie Wingo and everybody involved. I just hate today came to an end so fast. You know, I mean, we've kind of been behind the 8 ball ever since the deal happened in practice, having to go to a backup car, missing the first session, and that kind of put us in that situation, being where we were on the track. You know, I just I don't know what else to say. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what happened there. All I know is I just got hooked to the right, and then I tried to correct it, and I got it turned back around, but then it kept rotating, so I tried to stay on the gas, keep it spinning, it backed in the fence. You know, I'm just thankful for the good days that we had last weekend. I knew these days were coming, just didn't know they'd be this soon. I was hoping to maybe get a top 15 this weekend, but we'll be back at Vegas. We got a really good team behind us, like I said, and you know, I just can't thank everybody enough for what they did this week.
From the highs to the lows in 7 days.
Thanks, Krista. In all, 23 cars have been involved in crashes in just 67 laps here at Phoenix. The pace car rolls. We're back under caution, and here's a look at the big one.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. By KFC. Today is a KFC day, and today tastes so good. And by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Working caution, all but the first 4 cars stopped under this caution flag. It's Denny Hamlin leading, Ryan Newman, Paul Menard, and Jeff Gordon. Let's take an inside look at what's happening now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint and HTC Evo 4G. Fastest lap of the race, Kurt Busch, 26.96. And the biggest mover, Marcus Ambrose. Fuel your inner NASCAR fan with live in-car audio and real-time stats on NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile and the new HTC Evo 4G, only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in for a stop on this caution. Dick?
Junior's having a good day for himself, Mike. He started in the 35th position, and before that pit stop, he had worked his way all the way to 11th. They had to pull out the left front fender. It had gotten damaged in that incident, but the crew gave him a wild round of applause for his driving through that with no more damage. Earnhardt did a great job at that. He is also doing a great job at feedback for his new crew chief, Steve Letarte. Very detailed feedback, just the kind of information they need to dial that car in and get Junior to the front.
However, he didn't do a great job entering pit road because he was caught speeding entering his pit. So he will restart at the tail end of the longest line. He will be 27th, the last car on the lead lap.
Now, Mike, you talked about it. The top 5 cars right now, Hamlin, Newman, Menard, Jeff Gordon, Tony Raines, hadn't been that long since they were on pit road. They stayed out. The next car, Tony Stewart in a 14 car, who is 6th, he changed 2 tires. The other 15 cars that pitted all went with 4 fresh tires.
I think some of those cars, a lot of them from those first 3 or 4 back there, they felt like they needed to come to pit because most of them drove through some sort of debris.
And Tony Raines has now pitted, so that leaves just the front 4. Hamlin, Newman, Menard, and Gordon, who have not stopped. Here's a look at Tony. 2 cars officially out of the race, Blaney and Nemechek, but off track are 16, make that 15 others as a result of what happened. And we'll get you caught up on some of the repairs, like Clint Boyer getting a new nose, and the same will happen there for Jeff Burton.
A lot of these teams, Mike, they practice this kind of repair work. Look at that. I mean, it looks like
pick apart.
Yeah.
It looks like the Daytona garage area last week.
Getting set to go green with Denny Hamlin out front. He has elected the inside of the front row. Ryan Newman on the outside. Green flag.
Jeff Gordon up there in the 4th spot, right there on the outside. I keep hearing him saying he loves his car. He said that ever since the race started.
It's going to be a little treacherous. Some of these drivers on worn tires as the cars on fresh tires come up through 2 by 2.
Boy, Hamlin in that 11, he didn't get through 1 and 2 good, but he flew through the middle of turn 3 and 4.
Been riding around out there a little bit on those old tires. Take a lap or two to get the debris that you picked up knocked off, get the pressures back up a little bit.
And Newman in the 39, he gets that good run through 1 and 2 on the high side, but it seems like right here, that's where that 11's so good. His car turns and goes right there, but Newman got a pretty good run that time in the 39.
Well, you know, last year here, Newman had great success here. He won 1 race, finished second in the other. Think about who his crew chief is. Tony Gibson. Remember Mark Martin. He dominated this race about 3 years ago with Tony Gibson as his crew chief. There he is right there. Brought that same magic to this 39 team when it comes to Phoenix.
Big Daddy hunting second place. Jeff Gordon on the inside. And then Tony looking to take third away. Not this time.
But you're right, Mike. Jeff Gordon in that 24 car, he's been so happy with his car, just didn't get a good qualifying run in.
And we have our steering wheel here, and this is to tell you how much steering input the driver's having to do. Look how much he turns through that dog leg back there. 18, 19 degrees, just a little bit less than what you would turn in the middle of the corner. What we're seeing here is he's holding it pretty steady. That little juking around, that's just working with the car a little. But the car looks like it's handling real good. What you don't want to see is for that thing to go back to the right. As long as he's turning left, that car is pretty comfortable.
Right, 0 would be right there. And that would indicate the car's traveling straight ahead. You want to see that negative number on those degrees indicating a left turn, as Darrell pointed out.
Like Big Daddy in the 24 car, he's supporting what he's been feeling in that race car. He's going to lead that lap, Jeff Gordon.
I heard him say a couple times, Larry, if I can ever get to the front, we're gone.
His teammate, defending series champ Jimmy Johnson, now in 11th place after starting this race 28th. Matt?
Mike Chad Canales has attempted every stop today to try to improve Jimmy Johnson's race car for him. Jimmy says the car has been loose all the way around from the get-go, especially when he gets aggressive on throttle. Adjustments every stop, and they also had to battle a radio issue early on as well. They had some kind of interference. His teammate Jeff Gordon, his only issue appears they had some trash on the grill.
Matty, one thing about that 48 car, Chad Canales, they run so well here, and they're not worried about they know the racetrack's going to change. Remember, one of their points to the race, they know this track's going to change. It's going to rubber up, and that's when that car really comes on.
Other thing's going to change is that 18. Kyle Busch has just worked his way into 11th with this pass of Paul Menard. Remember, 1 restart ago, he was the last car on the lead lap.
There's Rico in the left rear fender, not sure. Quarter panel.
Tony Stewart in the 14 car. Now remember, he only took 2 fresh tires on that last caution. Battled a lot of guys with 4 fresh tires. But back to wild thing, Kyle Busch, Mike, he's picked up 13 spots since that last restart. That was after making major repairs on that car.
Yeah, they did. They came to pit road and they worked on that thing on all that last caution period. Looks like they really helped it.
Stewart to second. Here comes Truex for third. And Kurt Busch coming back up into play, Steve.
And Mike, Kurt Busch took 4 tires on that last caution. Oddly enough, he said that the sledding is most slippery on brand new tires right when they start. He said that's what he's nervous about the most.
Why would new tires not be as sticky as worn tires?
I don't think it's necessarily the tires. I think it's because they start the air pressure so low because they know how much pressure it's going to build over the course of a run. We've seen that all weekend here.
Yeah, we actually saw some guys spin out, put 4 sticker tires on lead pit road and spin out because there was no grip when they were brand new. Wow. Got to get a few laps on them, and then they come alive.
And a sticker tire is brand new, still has the label on it.
Casey Kane on the move, moves up underneath Marcus Ambrose, and Kane goes to the 7th position in the number 4. Well, Denny Hamlin has slipped all the way back to 6th.
I think there's some, I think amongst these crew chiefs, listen to some of the drivers, they're anticipating that big swing in this racetrack about halfway through this race. Maybe your car's not real happy now, but give it a chance.
Jimmy Johnson coming to the front, racing for 8th place. Hendrick drivers have won 6 of the last 8 Phoenix races. And Jeff Gordon here in the 24 started 20th today, and that was the highest of all 4 Hendrick drivers.
Yeah, that 48's won 4 of the last 7. Bad to the bone.
84 of 312 laps complete in Phoenix, and Jeff Gordon out front of Ryan Newman by 1.8 seconds.
Stick around for more NASCAR on Fox.
Glad you're enjoying the Subway Fresh Fit 500 from just outside Phoenix, Arizona. It's NASCAR on Fox, and we had a lead change moments ago. Our 13th lead change of the race. Some problems on the grill for Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman moving out in front, and Tony Stewart taking now the 14th lead change in front of Ryan Newman. The quick headlines from this race: Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne, an early wreck. Carl Edwards, the points leader and pole sitter, also an early wreck. Avoiding trouble, though, Jimmy Johnson currently running 7th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. inching up to 20th. We'll keep an eye on them throughout the rest of the afternoon. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. Great bit of cooperation among the 3 Hendrick-powered drivers. Jeff Gordon had something on the grill of his car. The water temperature was shooting up, so he allowed Ryan Newman to pass him to try to get that off. There's a look at it way on the left side of your screen.
See right over there.
When Newman got in front, the change in air pressure allowed that to move away. And then as Tony Stewart went to 2nd, Newman allowed his teammate and, oh, by the way, his car owner, Tony Stewart, to move past him to pick up a bonus point for leading the race.
I believe, though, Jeff Gordon is still struggling with something. I believe there's still a little bit of that paper on the grill because, man, he backed up big time. Yeah, you can see right there. There's still a little bit of stuff right there in the center of that grill, and that's very sensitive.
Matt?
And Mike, you're exactly right. The spotter was telling him, Jeff Dickerson, telling Jeff Gordon, there is some trash still on the grill. It migrated from the one side to the other, so they are still concerned about keeping an eye on the gauges because the temperatures were rising rapidly when he tried to make that move with Newman.
Jeff Gordon in 4th place.
He just moved by Martin Truex down the back off turn 2 over there to take over 3rd place. I think he was cooling his jets a little bit here to see where that water temperature was going to go.
He has radioed to the crew that it is fine. So 3 Chevys lead a Toyota and a Dodge.
But then that it just shows you how fickle racing can be. A dadgum piece of paper out of nowhere blows up on your grill and causes you to have to back off and lose the lead.
9 different leaders in this race so far. How about our current leader, Tony Stewart? Steve?
Mike, Tony Stewart just told Darian Grubb, I need some forward bite back. Maybe we'll fix that with 4 new tires.
What that basically means is when he puts the throttle down, the rear tires aren't hooking up. Looks like we've got some of our guys that were involved in the big wreck trying to get back out on the racetrack. Jeff Burton in the 31 headed back out.
A 13-car pileup at lap 66 sent a dozen cars to the garage, where many are still under repair. Phoenix native J.J. Yaley went to the garage a few laps ago and perhaps out of the race.
Well, Mike, because you get so few of points when you're back there in the 30s and 40s, you've got to get back out there. 1 or 2 positions could mean a lot going forward.
And that's the one big difference in the new point system. Last year, last place paid 16% of the points of winning. This year, it's only worth 2% as many. So you can dig yourself a big hole with an early exit in a race like this.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. It's February. All month, any footlong is a $5 footlong.
105 laps complete back in the Sprint Cup garage. They're trying to get Carl's 99 to look fresh and fit once again. He was involved in that big pileup and right now is in 39th position in this race. Carl has just climbed back aboard, trying to improve on the a mere 6 points he would receive if he left the race at this point.
And just think about it. The last 3 races, including Daytona last week, 3 consecutive top 2 finishes he came in here with.
At 106 laps, Tony Stewart out front of this race. Jeff Gordon, who started 20th. There's Joey Logano a lap down in the 20.
Down the cylinder too.
Gordon in second, Ryan Newman in third. 3 Chevrolets at the front of this field.
Now Ryan Newman is only about 13 to 15 laps away from having to make a green flag pit stop.
He last stopped at lap 51. Martin Truex trying to become the 4th driver to break a winless streak of over 70 races. 3 of the last 4 Phoenix winners have done just that. Kurt Busch being challenged on the inside by Casey Kane. Kane looking for 5th place.
Really, really hard to drive into turn 1 underneath someone. It's so easy to overdrive trying to get that position and get loose and get into them. You really have to be on your toes, braking and everything.
And here comes 5-time into the fray. Jimmy Johnson continues his climb up the ladder from 28th. He's at 7th place.
It's almost like they suffered in qualifying because they can't get going on a short run, but he has a good car on the long run.
Behind this group, Kyle Busch in 8th place. And here's Joe Gibbs' Toyota. Kyle started 4th. He's been all the way to the back, working his way all the way back to the front again.
And because of when he was on pit road, he can go further than anyone right now.
And you can see he had a lot of damage to the left side of that car when he made contact with Carl Edwards back there. They fixed that, but I noticed the left rear again. He's been made contact with somebody again with that left rear.
Now behind Kyle is his teammate Denny Hamlin, who dominated this race last fall. Dick?
Oh, at one point Hamlin was leading the race, Mike, and now he's dropped back to the 9th position, and that may all be due to tires. The last time he put 4 fresh tires on that car was lap 35. He put 2 on again on lap 51 and is still running on really what are more worn tires than a lot of other people out there. So in less than 20 laps, he's going to pit that car, put 4 fresh tires on it, and then we'll see it go toward the front again.
Yeah, Dick, he's in the same boat as Ryan Newman in the 39. They have not been to pit road for fuel since lap 51.
And one of the things you want to do is when these cars start coming out of the garage and you're getting close to a pit stop, wait as long as you can, because a lot of times they come out of the garage and guess what? Something might fly off of one of them.
Marcus Ambrose in the 9 and his teammate A.J. Allmendinger in the 43, running 10th and 11th. Those 2 Richard Petty Fords. And then Kevin Harvick at 12th place. Now here's Clint Boyer coming back into the race with a whole new nose on his number 33. Robbie Gordon has also rejoined the race. Under the new system, every single point counts. Krista.
To give you an update on Kevin Harvick's day, he was furious on the radio to start off the day because of bad pit stops. He thought his crew was giving him slow stops. He tried to encourage them, and there was some not also pleasantries on the radio, but he has definitely settled into a groove now. Right now, he said his race car is just a little bit tight in the center, loose off, but he reminds this crew this track is going to change quite a bit.
See all the damage to the left rear. He was in that wreck back on the 4th caution at lap 59 with Carl Edwards and Jeff Gordon.
Here's your Pizza Hut fan favorite, Dale Earnhardt Jr. running in 18th position, one of 25 cars that are still on the lead lap, and they keep coming out of the garage. Carl Edwards is back, and David Rudiman has returned to the race as well.
He's only half back. I think he might have left the other half in the garage.
Oh, maybe a quarterback.
He ought to get, you know what? He ought to get his dad Buzzy to drive that car, because that's like
that's a
modified that he drives.
He's just going to be making laps.
That's
is about
what he's
all
trying
going
to
to be doing.
Well, he's 47 laps down as the brothers Busch battle for 7th place. We go to their hometown next Sunday on Fox with the Cobalt Tools 400. ...116 laps complete in the desert, and Tony Stewart, with 4 USAC wins here, is out in front.
Stick around for more NASCAR on Fox.
Today's aerial coverage is provided by Subway. Up on top of that grandstand in turn 1 and 2, that's where the spotters are. So when Trevor Bayne's wreck happened in the front stretch, they were looking right at the hood, and the big wreck in the back stretch, they were looking right at the taillights. As we have a new leader, Jeff Gordon has driven past Tony Stewart.
Yeah, he got all the debris off his grill, and he's ready to go racing again.
And it's almost like Tony Stewart in the 14, as he started having to work lap traffic. He was having a tough time with some of those cars, and that definitely allowed Jeff Gordon in the 24 to get right up there back to him.
When Paulo Montoya trying to keep from going a lap down. And he will drop a lap to Jeff Gordon and now Stewart. A lot of drivers are on Twitter. Some have as many as 60,000 followers, except for Montoya, who has over 270,000 followers on Twitter.
That's huge.
Just a reminder, we're within a few laps of seeing what will begin green flag pit stops. I think 2 of the first cars we'll see, 2 of the first drivers will be Ryan Newman and Denny Hamlin. They have not been to pit road since lap 51.
Kyle Busch moves past Casey Kane, and that's at 6th place.
Oh, car in the wall hard.
And a wreck off of 4.
Off of 4.
David
It's the
Reagan.
6th car.
David Reagan pounds the wall. Caution is out at lap 126.
Blew a right front tire. I mean, I was looking right at it.
And we will not have green flag stops. There's David moving around in the car. He's okay.
Whoa.
Car's on fire.
Thing was coming off turn 4, Mike. It just went straight right.
Still hooked to the radio cord, that coiled cord. He'll reach in, pull that loose. Reagan had just gone 1 lap down in 22nd place. It's a vicious hit, Darrell.
Watch this thing, Mike. I was looking right at it because I was trying to see if anybody was going to start making any moves toward pit road, and there it goes, and bam, that is a lick.
There's no question that right front tire was down on that car.
Yeah, no question. Watch.
In front of you. He's trying to stay out of the way. Got the wall, guys. Got the wall. Tire went down. Cautious out. Cautious out.
Oh. And boy, that's Bill Elliott in the 09 car almost got taken out as well.
No safer barrier there. That looks like
that's concrete wall right there.
Wow.
And that was by far the longest green flag run we had, and that's when you start cooking the beat of the tire.
All right, free pass will be Juan Pablo Montoya. Jeff Gordon leads them on to pit road. Matt?
Mike, much like Darlington, this plays a compromise. Gordon says he's much better down in 1 and 2, a little tight on entry, but the car is just excellent on exit. He just wants a slight air pressure change to help himself on this next leg, Steve.
Matt, same thing for Tony Stewart. He's going to get a small air pressure adjustment. Remember, he was asking for more forward bite, rather. No chassis adjustments, 4 tires and fuel for Tony Stewart, and an air pressure adjustment.
Here's the race off pit road. Gordon, Stewart.
Whoa.
That's close.
It was
close.
It was.
And trouble for Martin Truex on this pit stop.
Yeah, he's still sitting there. I don't know what they're doing. They're looking up under the left front.
And there's the race off pit road. Stewart beats Gordon by an inch or so.
I'm hearing that the left front came off the 56.
David Reagan.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible. By Pizza Hut. Rev it up with all your favorite pizzas at low prices. Your favorites, your Pizza Hut. And by the AARP. Join Jeff Gordon and AARP in the drive to end hunger today. 181 laps to go. Tony Stewart leads Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson in the Subway Fresh Fit 500 here in Phoenix. Our AT&T race break. If you tuned in a little bit late, the Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne in a backup car for the first time was out of the race in a hurry, smacking into the wall. But that was the first of a number of miscues on lap 59. Carl Edwards, the pole sitter, were on board, and he creates a wreck that takes out at least 4 other cars.
Yeah, the 18 of Kyle Busch gets into the side of the 99, sends him careening off the racetrack, creates a big, but here's the real big one coming off the turn 2.
Well, there's some debate. Did Matt Kenseth cause it? Brian Vickers thought so, but Jamie McMurray, Jeff Burton, Clint Boyer, it also involved a number. We counted 13 cars, and the crew members hustling to get cars back out there.
You don't think points are not important? Look at these guys running in the garage trying to repair their cars. And our latest victim right now, as far as Phoenix this weekend and the day is concerned, the number 6 car of David Reagan. He looks like he melted the right front bead on his tire, hit the wall.
9 leaders, 16 lead changes. That's our AT&T race break. Here's the current standings for the fastest pit crew and how they've done. Get in on the action. Text the car number you think will be the best to AT&T. The fastest pit crew award is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And Tony Stewart, who won the first time he raced in Phoenix, Mike, in 1999, hasn't won here since, but has led the most laps and currently is your leader.
That's right, Chris. He won in '99 in the Sprint Cup race after 4 USAC open wheel wins here. And here's a comparison of the 2 crews leading the race.
I mean, that's about as close as the race off of pit road. As you can see there, though, the Jackman for Tony Stewart, the 14 versus Jeff Gordon's Jackman. He got around the car just a little quicker and just a little quicker on those left side tires.
Stewart and Gordon will restart on the front row. Then Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Marcus Ambrose and Greg Biffle now are the top 10. David Reagan checked at the infield care center and released. He is okay as we get set to go back to green at lap 133. Montoya received the free pass, and that gives us 21 cars on the lead lap.
You know, the one thing that was timely about that caution, if you look at the first 125 laps, we were all over the place with strategy. Everybody has 4 fresh tires now.
Yeah, everybody was on kind of a different fuel strategy. Now we're all equal.
We had run 55 green flag laps, and we're getting ready for pit stops. David Reagan pounded the wall coming out of turn number 4 after what we believe was a blown tire from being overheated at the bead. Tony Stewart is your leader as we crank it up in Phoenix. The top 8 drivers all past Phoenix winners. You saw the onboard view from Martin Truex, who entered the pits 3rd and came out 20th after problems on the left front, and saw a brief glimpse of Brian Vickers, who is back in the race with repaired crash damage. Darrell, let's look at Matt Kenseth just about 3 laps ago off turn 4.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle Busch. You got Ryan Newman in the 39 outside. Matt on in the middle here. Ooh. Got a little tail happy on him, and of course that cost him. Here comes the 18 car. And we're back in here. There's Dale Jr. He's getting off turn 4. You get a little loose sometime, and nothing you can do but let out the throttle and get it back under you.
David Gilliland alongside, Brad Keselowski behind.
That's what so many of the drivers were complaining about early, is lack of forward bite. You heard Steve Burns talking about some of the drivers complaining about that. Can't get the power to the rear wheels. Especially, it seems like, Larry, on this tire when you first go back to green. It seemed like it takes a few laps for the heat to build in the tire and get the grip.
A.J. Allmendinger in the 43 moves up to 11th in front of Biffle and Hamlin, and for the lead, here comes Jeff Gordon once again. Tony Stewart lets him go. Gordon's crew chief Alan Gustafson has 2 Phoenix wins. He was with Mark Martin here in April of 2009 and Kyle Busch in November of 2005. There's a look at Alan, the Daytona Beach native.
One of his best shots at winning was right here last year. He got kind of got snookered on the restart. Ryan Newman was able to beat him back to the flag and won the race. And you know, because of all the swapping that Hendrick did at the end of last year, Darrell, in the pre-race, you talked about Dale Earnhardt Jr. actually driving with the 24 team and Steve Letarte. Think about it, Jeff Gordon is driving the cars with the team and the crew chief that Mark Martin had last year.
Give you a quick update on cars out of the race. Phoenix natives J.J. Yaley and Michael McDowell are in the garage along with Landon Castle, Travis Kvapil, Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne, Dave Blaney and Joe Nemechek. Other cars are back there but still under repair. In all, 24 cars, that's more than half the field, have been involved in some of the crashes here at Phoenix so far.
And the teams have done an incredible job of patching those cars up and getting them back in the race. If you look at a number of cars, the 33 car of Clinton Boyer, you can't even tell it's been in a wreck, and it had no nose on it a little while ago.
Ryan Newman handily outqualified his boss Tony Stewart and all the Hendrick cars. There's Newman's 39 in front of Kyle Busch, and here's Steve. All right, we'll get back there in a moment as. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, sorry, Mike. The mic wasn't open. That's the very same car that Ryan Newman drove to victory here 1 year ago, and then a second-place finish to Carl Edwards in November. He said the biggest issue I've got right now is it's just a little bit tight in the center of turns 1 and 2.
And that's such a fine line, because if you try to fix that, then that's when you can hurt that forward bite off the corner.
Mark Martin and Greg Biffle go at it for 14th place.
Now, you know, when you wreck your car and you go in the garage, you fix it, and you come back out, NASCAR has a minimum speed that you have to be able to run, and some of these wrecked cars are coming back out on the racetrack. I don't think they're capable of running that minimum speed. They're going to be calling some of them in here before long. Maybe like that 71 car.
Yeah, that's Andy Lally, the road racer. And David Rudiman also without any front aerodynamic help on his 00. Lally 62 laps down, Rudiman 50 laps back, and here teammates trade positions. Allmendinger going to 10th, Ambrose 11th.
This has been a good track for the Dinger, the 43 car there. If you think back last year, sat on the pole, had a top 10 run all day long.
Since the start of the race, remember we had a lot of rain here last night. Yesterday's temperature was in the middle 60s. The track temperature has come up 7 degrees, so has the ambient. Not sure we're going to see 60 today, but the folks who are sitting in the sunshine are going to enjoy it, and those in the shade with this breeze, not quite so much.
and that little bit of ambient will not make a huge difference, but that's 7 degrees in track. The higher the track temperature comes up, the less grip they have.
One of Kurt Busch, who started this race from the outside pole and currently runs in 4th.
Up the fence in the right rear, coming up into pushed its brains out. It got dead sideways. Working way too hard here to keep pace. We're more like a 15th place car.
Well, his lap times, Darrell, are less than half a tenth off the leader, so he's keeping pace.
Well, I guess that means he was a 15th place car and he's a 4th place driver, so he needs to get the car to catch up with the driver is what he's saying.
Denny Hamlin trying to move back up, passing Ambrose for 11th place. They're about 9 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, Hamlin had trouble in the pits. That's how he got really far behind as well. Something about the fueling, I think, on the car when they pitted last time.
New closed loop fueling system for these cars on pit road this year, and some teams may be taking a little time getting properly adapted to that. Krista?
I mentioned earlier that Kevin Harvick was vocal on the radio. He's being quiet right now, but he did mention to me that actually this morning that he said, my crew knows I'm emotional. They let me vent. And Gil, meaning Gil Martin, his crew chief, makes sure it doesn't fester. We and I did better at that last year. Right now, the car is doing much better.
You know, you got to have emotion. I want a driver that's fired up, but you got to temper that. You can't go over the line. You got to keep that under control, or you'll cost yourself a shot at good finish or a win.
And Harvick is a fellow who can and has carried that too far. One day in a truck race, after a bad stop, he fired the entire pit crew from the driver's seat. He rehired them all back at the end of the race.
On Monday, he hired them back. I bet Delana had something to do with hiring them back.
Speaking of Delana, Kevin and Delana will celebrate their 10th anniversary tomorrow. They were married right after he started driving the Richard Childress Sprint Cup Series car full time.
Our pole sitter and track record holder Carl Edwards has not had a great day. 57 laps back after being involved in the in a pileup at lap 59. Not the big pileup at lap 66. 13 cars involved in that one as well.
You know, we can talk about the driver being a cheerleader. Carl Edwards, as he went back out there, Darrell, he just told his team on the radio, this is a championship team. Let's keep our heads up, guys.
Now, he came in here as the point leader, and right now, Edwards runs in 32nd. That's worth 13 championship points, plus 1 for having led the race. Not much, but the longer he runs, the better his chances are to pick up a few. He won't be any threat to this man, though. Jeff Gordon continues to lap this track at just over 28 seconds, and he has a 1-second lead on Tony Stewart.
I think the guy he might want to look in his mirror and keep an eye on is that 48 car. Inching in the picture there, coming off the corner behind Tony Stewart.
Just past halfway in the Subway Fresh Fit 500, Jeff Gordon leading Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, and the Busch brothers, and our fresh take on the race at halfway. Well, now that we got all the crashing out of the way, 24 cars have been involved in one or more pileups. Time to pace yourself. Time to take what this track will give you and see how things are going to sort out.
But I think with what we've seen, especially after a caution, you got to be really thinking about track position, because one, it's hard to overcome being back in the field, and we've already seen where you can certainly get in trouble.
Yeah, and you got to keep your head up. And what I mean by that is, yeah, Carl Edwards had a car that he sure could have won this race, but he wrecked. His team fixed the car. The hardest thing for a driver to do is get back in a car and go out there and make laps. But that's what you got to do if you're going to win the championship.
Jimmy Johnson third and closing on Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. And they've told both David Rudiman and Andy Lally pick up their speed or get black flagged off the racetrack. They were involved in crashes. They've made repairs, but they need to move up to minimum speed. Here's Brad Keselowski and Greg Biffle fighting for 17th. 21 cars on the lead lap. Now these cars are 18 seconds off the lead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 15 seconds back in 14th place. Too loose at the start of the run, better now.
Yeah, well, and what I love about Steve Letarte is he didn't argue with him about it. You know, he said 10-4, good information. They can make it better, and just that's what I like about Stevie Letarte. He's always up.
Regan Smith back in the race, 98 laps down after being caught in one of those big pileups. And the Busch brothers continue to stay in close formation. Kurt in 4th, Kyle in 5th. Steve?
Mike, right now, Kurt Busch is struggling in that 22 car. He says it's just getting worse. It's loose on exit, and I'm also having a hard time turning it.
You know, I go back to some audio we played of him several laps ago. I think what he was trying to tell Steve Addington, talking about Kurt Busch, is I'm pretty fast right now, but I'm almost having to work too hard to make it go this fast at this point.
Yeah, basically he's saying I'm carrying the car. You know, the car's not helping me at all. I got to do all the work. I got to carry it. It'd be good if we could get the car better.
Kevin Harvick closing in on the Busch brothers. Harvick up to 6th. Remember, he had a spin earlier and has fought his way all the way back right there to 6th place.
Because, Mike, what these drivers are really good at is adapting to whatever's wrong with the car. Car's pushing, he'll adapt to it. Car loose, he'll adapt to it. In the pits, it looks like, well, we seem to be okay. And that's where you need that good feedback.
Been watching this battle right here. Jeff Gordon in the 24 and Tony Stewart in that 14. Tony has been beating Jeff Gordon. Jeff's starting to get in traffic, but he's been beating him about a 10th to 10th and a half a lap. Only about 3 car lengths back right now.
They move past Clint Boyer as you see the gap closing. And right behind them, Mike Skinner in the 32 this week for Frank Stoddard. And here comes Jimmy Johnson wanting to be part of that battle.
Back to the battle between the brothers. Kyle Busch in the 18 just drives by his brother Kurt Busch. That 22 puts him into the 4th spot.
You know, Mike, if your average finish at a racetrack is a 4.9, you got to believe that the 48 car eventually will get up in the top 2 or 3. And he's there now, just knocking on the door.
Didn't qualify well at all, 28th. But Jimmy Johnson has worked his way into the top 3 and coming. There's a look at Johnson as he looks forward at Tony Stewart and his teammate Jeff Gordon in the lead at 171 laps in Phoenix.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is sponsored by Toyota.
Tony Stewart leads Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon as we take an inside look at what's happening now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint and HTC Evo 4G. Kurt Busch has the fastest lap of this race. And the biggest mover, Jimmy Johnson, from 28th to 2nd. Fuel your inner NASCAR fan with live in-car audio and real-time stats on NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile and the new HTC Evo 4G, only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed.
What'd you say to me in break, Larry, about the 48 car?
Maybe about 1 pit stop away of being right there.
About 15. We'll get her cleaned up then.
And I think that was Chad Knaus talking to Jimmy Johnson about the stuff on Jimmy's grill that they're concerned about. Pit stops in about 15 more laps, Chad said.
Yep, about 15 to 20 more laps. This is another long green flag run that we've had here. They were last on pit road at lap 128, just crossed the 178 mark.
Eighth place battle, Casey Kane, Matt Kenseth. Looking at the cars off the track that were involved in the big pileup, the only one that's not yet dropped out of the race and still under repair, Jamie McMurray, still trying to get him back out as Matt Kenseth moves past Casey Kane to take over 8.
Remember Matt, a father again earlier in the week. Grace Catherine Kenseth was born to Matt and Katie on Tuesday. Joins older daughter Kaylin that they have and son Ross.
Been a tough day for our pole sitter. Carl Edwards, clearly a car that could have dominated here, the new track record holder. Carl spent enough time in the garage area to have not one but 2 of those sweet onion chicken teriyaki $5 footlongs that he likes so much.
Why not? Take a little break.
Not pretty, but he was 35th when he came out of the garage. He's up to 31st. That's 4 positions. That's 4 more points. And those could prove important as this season rolls on.
Keep your head up.
Tony Stewart, the 14, is hitting pit road here. I just saw Montoya in the 42 on pit road.
Steve, this seems maybe just a little bit early. What do you think?
Just a little bit, Mike, but they told him to go ahead and use his car up. He said, Tony said, I'm just a tiny bit tight, more so back to the gas. I can help myself on entry. So they're going to go ahead and take 4 tires as Tony Stewart hits his mark, slides to his top. Also make a chassis adjustment, 1 round in the left rear for Tony Stewart. Darian Grubb, the crew chief, says, go on my mark, go when I say. Let's wait. So they make the chassis adjustment.
And they wait for the fuel.
That's one of the things about this fueling system. It's a little bit slower than our old system. And one reason that you have to go on the crew chief now, you don't have that catch can man back there waving his hand that the car is full. The crew chief has to watch that can.
Paul Menard is in, and so is Brad Keselowski, Steve.
And Mike, the 2 cars really been struggling with the handle. He says, I need to turn. The corners aren't good at all. I can't get down to the bottom quick enough. 4 tires and fuel for Brad Keselowski.
Change at the right rear, chassis adjustment there. And it's the tire carrier making the adjustment. Remember, no more catch can man, as Larry pointed out. Different teams doing it differently with these adjustments.
Boy, Larry, I can't believe how tall that neck on that can is and how high that gas man has to hold that thing up.
Yes, it still basically holds the same amount of fuel, roughly around 12, 13 gallons.
There you see that vent tube in this closed loop fueling system. Mark Martin is in Clint Boyer's damaged car. Here's Martin Truex, Greg Biffle, and Tony Raines on pit road. Scheduled green flag pit stops at lap 187, Matt.
And Mike, on the previous pit stop, what happened was when the tire chooser came around, they got the hose underneath the jack. When they tried to easily load the jack to get it out, Martin thought that was his sign to go. Pat Tresser said, no, we're going on my count. Like Larry said, when this car is full of fuel, he's away. Krista?
Kevin Harvick has been very quiet on the radio. 4 tires, a quick stop for the 29 crew.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in as green flag stops continue. So is Casey Mears.
I know, as silly as it may sound, but a crew chief has to remember to say stop, 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 not whoa, whoa, whoa. Because whoa and go, you get confused.
Dick.
Well, Junior in, they've got a wrench in the back window. The car has been pretty good. It's a very minor chassis adjustment for Junior, who all day long has been giving his new crew chief excellent feedback. Junior gone with 4 tires and fuel.
Bobby Labonte pits. So does David Gilliland. The 2nd and 3rd place finishers in the 500 have both had crash trouble today, but both still running. Casey Kane on pit road. Kane pits out of 7th place. Krista?
Casey Kane saying his car getting just a little bit too loose. They're going to fix it by going around down on the track bar.
A.J. Allmendinger and his teammate Marcus Ambrose both in. And here comes the leader, Jimmy Johnson, coming on the pit road. Matt?
Mike, fighting much of a loose race car. Most of this race, we've seen the clouds come in and out, track conditions changing. As DW said, the track's starting to take rubber. We're seeing a lot of guys seeing their race cars change. No chassis adjustment for Johnson, just a small air pressure change. The car loose early in the run, but really nothing major. Waiting on the 24, his teammate to come soon.
Kyle Busch getting 4 tires under green as well. And here comes Jeff Gordon. David Rudiman also in the pit lane, and Ryan Newman and Denny Hamlin, along with Kurt Busch. Matt?
And as Gordon makes his way to a stop, he said he wants to try to keep up with the racetrack. In traffic, his car got much tighter. He calls for a slight track bar adjustment to free him up earlier in this run. Left side tires going on. They're going to top him off with Sunoco, Steve.
Matt, big adjustments on the 22 of Kurt Busch. He said his car has gone to junk on the long range. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, also a track bar adjustment, and air pressure for Kurt Busch. 4 tires.
Matt Kenseth is the new leader. of the race at lap 192.
But he's going to have to get to pit road because they're about to run over him with those old tires he has and the fresh tires most of our leaders have. We're hearing he's probably coming to pit road this time.
Kenseth up between turns 3 and 4. Hard on the brakes, down on the apron.
Whoa. Man, he packed her in there, making up a little extra time.
Krista.
Well, another problem he was having, he was getting loose off of turn 4, but he said he really likes his car in 1 and 2. Matt, always cool, calm, and collected on the radio. They're coming around to make an adjustment and a 4-tire change.
So the only driver left on the lead lap who has not pitted is Bill Elliott in 19th place.
But regardless, all of these green flag stops that these drivers made, it's a one-stop race to the end from here now.
As we cycle through pit stops, Jimmy Johnson will pick up the lead. Mike Skinner coming to pit road, and some of the other lap down cars still have yet to pit.
And new leader again, 48.
Chad Knaus just loves saying that. If Johnson leads 11 laps today, he has led 7. If he leads 4 more, he will surpass Rusty Wallace as the all-time Sprint Cup lap leader at Phoenix. 5-time Jimmy Johnson again assumes the lead at Phoenix International Raceway. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Catch the Dominator if you can. To be continued on NASCAR on Fox.
Sponsifiers back for 2011, and the winning designer gets a personal visit from their favorite driver. Go to toyotaracing.com for all new ways to create, customize, and share your design. Kyle Busch running third, 3.2 seconds off the lead, but we think he'll be a factor before this one's over. Jimmy Johnson, your leader. Jeff Gordon in second, half a second back. 3 seconds back to Kyle Busch.
Now, Kyle's just had to overcome a lot in working on the car in the pits and everything, but he has definitely got one of the faster race cars right now.
Carl Edwards, the pole sitter, caught up in a crash early, but his Roush Fenway crew got him back on track. 58 laps off the pace. He is in 30th position, but is going to finish this one. Now on the leader's last pit stop, Jeff Hammond picked up something interesting. Jeff?
Yes, I did, Mike. As a matter of fact, watching these guys, as Jimmy came into the pits, you know, you'll notice the guy coming around to the left rear, the tire carrier right there. He goes back around to the right, the left side of the car, and you notice the guy gassing the car, and all of a sudden the tire carrier becomes the gas man. This is the only team I've seen through all these pit stops that had a little different, you might say, wrinkle in his pit stop, and it may have been the reason why they got on and off pit road a little faster than everybody else.
New leader. Jeff Gordon has bypassed Jimmy Johnson to go out front for the 4th time today.
And Darrell, I can see the 48 car wiggling, and we heard on his radio that he's getting a little too loose right now. I think this track is really starting to go through some changes.
I do too. And Larry, just to follow up on that pit stop deal, this morning we were told that if you were going to do that, where the tire changer was the second fuel man, had to have all the safety equipment on, had to have the apron and everything else. So if you see another team down through there with the tire changer dressed in the gas man's wardrobe, then you'll know that's what they're planning on doing.
And I like what they did, Darrell, that exchange by having the second gas man there and putting that fuel can in. That's half a second to a second saved right there. Like that. How about Tony Stewart, who currently is the 4th place car, 5 seconds off the lead. Steve?
Well, Mike, he's hot right now, that race car. He just said to Darian Grubb, I'm looser now than I was before the pit stop. How can we be this bad when we put 4 new tires on? And then, Darrell, what I'm curious about, and you can maybe explain a little better, Tony finally calmed down and he said, all right, I'm going to back up my corners a little bit and see if that helps.
Well, yeah, what he's saying, I believe what he's doing is when he put new tires on, you would assume that you have the best grip you're going to have when they're brand new. But I believe with this tire, we've seen it over and over again. It takes a little while for them to really start to work. And so you got to give the tires a chance to come in before you start charging that corner again.
Let's check back in, see how your Pizza Hut fan favorite driver is doing. That is Dale Earnhardt Jr. running in a pack with Mark Martin, A.J. Allmendinger, Denny Hamlin, as Earnhardt makes the pass and moves up to 12th place.
And this is one of the oldest sayings in racing. You have to slow down to go faster. And what that means is back the corner up, get in a little smoother and a little easier, but be back in the throttle.
You know, Darrell, in the pre-race, one of your gas and go questions was about Dale Earnhardt Jr. Would he break the winless streak before he gets to 100? But when I think about our leader, Jeff Gordon, which is his teammate, I think we sometimes forget that Jeff Gordon is on a 66 race winless streak. And since he won that race at Texas back in 2009, he has finished second 8 times. So Jeff Gordon, that's the longest winless streak in his career that he has going right now.
And I think that's the difference in Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr. though. Dale Jr. was not all that competitive, and Jeff Gordon has been right there, as you said, 8 times. So I think that's what Jr. needs to work on. Get up there and get in a position to win a race.
Yeah, last year Jeff Gordon had 4 clear coulda, woulda, shouldas.
Including right here.
That's right.
That green-white checkered, that late race caution, they went with 4. Ryan Newman in the 39, they went with 2.
$100 laps to go at Phoenix International Raceway in the Subway Fresh Fit 500.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Try March's featured $5 footlong, the meatball pepperoni. By Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. By DirecTV, don't just watch TV, direct TV. And by Dodge. The Subway Fresh Fit 500 and Joey Logano bringing out the 7th caution in this race. Under 100 laps to go, and this is part of the problem for the 20-year-old. Trevor Bayne, the other 20-year-old, the Daytona 500 winner, wrecking early in this race. So this is a race where the experienced drivers having more of a say in things. In fact, one more lead change and we will set the record here in Phoenix. 2nd straight week we would set a track record for lead changes. The brief headlines here: Kyle Busch, who won Friday and Saturday here, wrecked on lap 59, was 36th, worked his way up to 3rd. Kevin Harvick, coming off the worst career finish last week, 42nd at Daytona, fell back to 37th, up in the top 5. And of course, Jeff Gordon, your leader, as the pits are open right now. Let's check in with Matt Yoder.
And the game plan for Jeff Gordon, he says simply the car is neutral, but then when he gets caught up in traffic, the car gets tight, builds up the pressures in the front, and that's pretty much how it stays. They're going to make a track bar adjustment to try to help free the car up in this run. Meanwhile, his teammate Jimmy Johnson really likes his car better on that last run. He wanted more of an air pressure change this stop. Steve?
Matt, small chassis adjustment for Tony Stewart. He said, just snug me up a little bit. They are going to get 4 tires on that number 14 for Tony Stewart. Mike?
Thanks, Steve. Long stop for Jimmy Johnson, 18.8 seconds. Trouble on one of the wheel changes.
Yeah, you can see that was about 4 to 5 seconds off of what those other guys, and you can see there, lose 7 spots because everyone went with 4 tires.
Let's take a look at this pit stop, Larry. See what we can see here.
There, Larry. What happened?
Jack goes up on the right side. Having
the right front.
Yeah, lug nut on the right front.
The inspector was telling him about it. Come on, Chad. Calm down. Calm down.
And let's talk about that a little, Darrell. It is within the inspector's purview, if he notices a problem on the race car, to point it out and give the team a chance to correct it instead of waiting till that car leaves the pit and then call the penalty.
Because that was only losing 7 spots. You have to come back in to put that lug nut on. You're going to go all the way back right now to about 18th or 19th.
That inspector is there not to work against you, but to help you. That's all. That's what he's there for.
And I'm sure the frustration on Jimmy Johnson's part, Chad Canals, remember all of the pit crew woes that they went through the end of last year, swapping crews in the middle of the Texas race with the 2014.
Let's have a look at our Subway race summary at 220 laps. Jeff Gordon, the leader, 19 lead lap cars, and we'll add Brad Keselowski, who gets the free pass here. 10 different leaders, 23 lead changes, 7 caution flags. The big one, a 13-car backstretch pileup at lap 57 with a 14-minute red flag. Sunday, March 13th, relive all the excitement of the Daytona 500 with never-before-seen footage and exclusive audio of Trevor Bayne's thrilling victory for the legendary Wood brothers. Daytona 500, the American dream. And then a special presentation of Car Warriors. 2 great events on one special Sunday. Sunday, March 13th, beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Listened in on Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is running 15th.
That was a good run, man. Good run. You took off good. Great job on and off pit road under green. We made up some time there.
Crew chief and chief cheerleader, Steve Letarte.
I love it, and I think that's really going to pay dividends as this team gets more familiar with each other.
How about Kevin Harvick, who is up to 3rd? Krista?
Yeah, Mike, some cheerleading down here as well. He had just come on the radio in that run saying his car was not driving real well. He wasn't liking the feel of it, so they made some adjustments. But the bigger story, remember early in the race, he had his crew fired up. Well, they answered the call. Kevin came on the radio after they exited 3rd and said, awesome job.
This is a team that went through some pit crew issues the end of last year. In fact, in the chase, Richard Childress swapped some crews there.
You see him right there just spinning right down the middle of the racetrack here. Back on lap 59.
He was behind the Kyle Busch Carl Edwards dust up that caused that caution, but got a boot from behind and got turned around. What a great recovery to 3rd place for Kevin Harvick and that Richard Childress team. And they need it after leaving Daytona with just 3 championship points. Big rebound here. Jeff Gordon has led 69 of the 222 laps, and that puts him in position for the extra bonus point for leading the most laps today. Before we go green, let's get an AT&T race break from Chris Myers.
Mike here with Jeff Hammond, and Jeff Gordon has led the most laps today. You were talking earlier about last year. 3 times he led the most laps in a race, but the 4-time champ has yet to come up with a win, trying to end a 66 race streak without a victory. But I look at this leaderboard here with Gordon, Kyle Busch, you got Harvick, Tony Stewart, a moment ago Jimmie Johnson, championship contenders, guys who've won championships, who have great experience.
And the worst thing about it, as far as Jeff's concerned, even though he's got a great race car, is that number 18 car, Kyle Busch. He has really been running strong all weekend long, and you got to believe that as they keep getting closer to the end of the race, they're going to keep tweaking on that race car, and he's going to become a factor before it's all said and done. So to me, he's got a lot of people getting ready to basically get after him, and we still got at least one more pit stop to come.
Yeah, we heard Carl Edwards earlier, the pole sitter, the points leader coming in, say he had a fast car, but wrecked out of the picture in terms of winning this race. Trevor Bayne, the superhero of the great American race, the Daytona 500, also wrecked, having a tough time. But when we look at this here, in terms of what's left over the finish here, Jeff, let's talk about how much experience plays into this.
Oh, it really does. And that's why I say I'll go back to any of them. They all have a lot of experience, but whoever can fine-tune that little bit on that chassis here toward the end. A lot of guys are talking about forward bite. Can't get down in the corner like Tony Stewart. So they made some changes in that 14. He's been a factor all day, just like that 24. I think in the end it's going to wind up being how bad do you want it?
How does Jimmie Johnson come back from the pit mistake?
He's going to have a hard time doing that, I think, right now. He's got to fight his way up through there. He's got to get up on the wheel and let Mike force him into a situation where he gets caught up in his own mistake, too.
And speaking of the pits, the fastest pit crew at AT&T, your vote, compare. AT&T customers, you can find out the final race standings as soon as the checkered flag drops by texting your fastest pit crew choice and replying OK when prompted. Receive service. AT&T Fastest Pit Crew Award brought to you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network.
After that trouble on the right front, Chris, Jimmie Johnson will restart 9th. Jeff Gordon is your leader. He'll have to deal with Kyle Busch on the outside, Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart right behind him, then Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth.
I noticed a piece of something, I guess it's bear bond or something hanging off the back of the 29 car there. I don't think it's a big deal, but there is a piece of something hanging down right there. Yeah, it is the bear bond.
Brad Keselowski was the free pass car. A number of cars took the wave around to get a lap back and elect not to pit. Mears, Skinner, Smith, Edwards, and Elliott were the wave around cars. Pace car dives in. Here comes Jeff Gordon and Kyle Busch trying to settle this one with 87 laps to go. Green flag.
Boy, Jeff Gordon in that 24 got a great restart on that 18 car as he gets a pretty good run off turn 2.
Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch side by side fighting for 4th. And Busch will take the spot, opening the door for Matt Kenseth in the 17.
I think we're seeing that 14 car struggles a little bit on a restart on newer tires. You heard Tony complain about them. Whoa. I've been complaining about this right here. Yikes.
Ambrose nowhere to go. As Denny Hamlin in the 11 comes around the outside, and now Ambrose has to deal with Montoya. Darrell, the action is just so frantic right on these restarts and for the next several laps.
Yeah, this is when you just got everybody right here. You know, you're amongst them right now. Get all of them you can, because once it gets strung out, it's pretty hard to do.
Dick Berggren.
Because of his performance here last fall, Mike, a lot of people thought Denny Hamlin was going to be a major factor in today's event. He qualified 12th, and on that restart, he was 12th. They have not been able to get the chassis just right. On the last pit stop, they had wrenches in both sides. The crew worked hard to get him out fast, but because they had to change 4 tires and make those adjustments, started back in the pack again.
Yeah, Hamlin is presently 15th out of 20 lead lap cars.
Starting to see the sun become a factor down this front straightaway. Let's see how Jimmy's doing on his steering here. We got his steering wheel indicator in. Got a lot of, you have to turn up that little back straightaway there across that dog leg. Quite a bit of wheel here, all the way up to 30 degrees right there. You see him working the wheel. Gets back to pretty much neutral down the straightaway. You have to hold the car just a little bit on the straightaway, but then in the turn, man, he's cranking that thing a lot. That means that car is pretty tight.
34 degrees of wheel, Darrell. That's the most we've seen from anybody today.
It's a lot of wheel.
Darrell, I think we'll see what you were just talking about right here as we ride with Jimmy Johnson coming off turn 4.
Man, and look at that windshield. It's dirty. They're going to get a tear off of that thing, because that's going to continue to get more and more in the driver's eyes. And I don't see anything on his windshield for like a sun visor.
82 laps to go. Here comes Kenseth. He's the fastest Ford in the race. Right now, 8th place as Ryan Newman moves past. Here comes Paul Menard in the 27, racing Kenseth for 8th.
It just looks like this move to Richard Childress Racing is paying off for Paul Menard. A top 10 run last week at Daytona. Here he's worked his way back into the top 10.
Yeah, people were wondering and even questioning Richard Childress about having a 4th team, but this guy is doing his job right now. Car's smooth too, Larry. You see his hands straight up off the corner, nice and straight.
See, Casey Kane in that 4 car worked his way back to the top 10 after a great qualifying effort. Started 3rd when this race took the green flag. He's been hanging out near the front all day long.
Now Kane right now the 2nd best Toyota in the race. Kyle Busch is 2nd. Casey is 10th. And Mark Martin is trying to move into the top 10. He's in 11th.
Now Mark's got damage on the right front there from that big wreck back there, but they were able to patch him up, and he's been kind of slowly getting back in the picture.
And as Casey Kane looks in his rearview mirror at that 5 car, we still have 34 races to go in 2011, but the 5 car will be what Casey Kane will be in next year.
A.J. Allmendinger moving up to 11th, and Greg Biffle looking in. Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart for 4th place. They are 2.5 seconds off the lead. And right up front, Kyle Busch has caught Jeff Gordon for the lead within about 0.3 of a second. Matt?
Mike, Kyle Busch's car was an extremely long-run car. He would lose so much distance at the beginning of the run to Jeff Gordon. They've tried migrating back a little bit here and there with adjustments, and he would just lose so much time. But this run, he's right there. You can see he's reeling in the 24. Much better this time around.
But Matt and Darrell, what I just watched Kyle Busch do last time through 3 and 4, he started overdriving his race car. I think he had to start backing his corner up a little bit.
And Jeff Gordon looked in the mirror and said, "Got to go time," and he's jumped that lead from 0.3 of a second now to 0.6.
I think they're on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think Jeff Gordon's got a good short run car because he seems to back up a little bit after we run several laps, and that 18 seems to be a better long run car, so they're going to intersect sooner or later.
Jimmie Johnson restarted 9th. He's trying to pass Kurt Busch to move back into the top 5.
Yeah, he can't waste any time. I mean, he's got to recover from that pit stop in a hurry if he's going to get himself in a position to win this race.
But in about 11 or 12 laps, he has made up about 4 or 5 of those spots. Lost 7 on that pit stop.
And I think that 48 car is a good example of what we talked about, the track changing. And this car seemed to really like the track once it rubbered up a little bit.
And we're about to go through another change because now turn 2 is pretty well shaded by the grandstand. There you see it. And that will change track temperature and change the driver's approach to that end of the racetrack. Steve?
Mike, listening to Kurt Busch in that 22, he said the front end is chattering so badly, I cannot pick up the throttle at all.
Yeah, and Steve, you can really see he is fighting with that race car. I mean, he's trying to keep up with Jimmie Johnson, Ryan Newman here, but he just got his hands full. The car's just not capable of keeping up.
But what that chattering means is when he goes to turn the steering wheel, the front wheels are almost just skipping across the racetrack. Then when he puts the throttle down, he can't get the rear wheels to hook up.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rock skipping across water. That's what it feels like when those things start chattering like that.
Up front, Jeff Gordon continues to inch away from Kyle Busch now. 0.7 of a second is the lead. Pit road, Dale Earnhardt Jr. says he has a loose wheel. Or a vibration that feels like a loose wheel.
Well, and I think a lot of times that's what you think is when you pick up that vibration, Darrell, that maybe they left the wheel loose on the pit stop.
Just think about last week.
Here. Come on, you are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 tires, make sure it's full.
Think about last week. He was in really, really good shape. Had a flat tire late in the race, had to come to pit road, and then ended up in a wreck.
Now Larry Earnhardt will leave the pits with 7.
All clear, all clear, all clear. Don't speed now. We're in our window here. Run her to the end here.
71 laps to go, and I think Steve just answered the question.
Exactly. That's the reason he said make sure and get that car full. We're in our window, which means if we stay green, we can go to the end. You heard Jeff Hammond say a little while ago, everyone is going to be about 15 to 20 laps shy that made that pit stop back on lap 219.
See, so should it go green the rest of the way? I mean, that could be some bad luck that turns out to be a blessing.
But should the caution come out, Dale Jr. is now 1 lap down to Jeff Gordon.
That's what was a big game changer in this race in November. We went green for a long period of time. That's the reason the 11 car had to pit for fuel and lost all those points to Jimmie Johnson.
And I also think that race last year here is having a big effect on that 11 car in the pits today. They are staying there until they got that thing packed full of fuel every time they come down pit road.
Here are your lap leaders today. Jeff Gordon has not sewn up the award for leading the most laps, but he's getting close.
Now, the one thing about the next stop these guys make, regardless if it's under green, under caution, they don't have to worry about getting it full. They just need about 15 to 20 laps of fuel put in that race car.
A gas and go. I love it. We started today with a gas and go.
A.J. Allmendinger moves into 10th. Matt Kenseth backs up a spot. Mark Martin looks in the 5. Jeff Gordon has opened his lead on Kyle Busch now to 1.1 seconds.
Whoa. Boy, Matt Kenseth is wearing the Marcus Ambrose's back bumper out.
You know, as I look at Mark Martin in that 5 car, I think we sometimes forget 52 years old, but I promise you there's not another driver out there that has a stronger regiment for working out than Mark Martin.
Well, he was 3 laps down last week and came back and finished 10th. He's that kind of a guy. He never, ever gives up.
Right now, he's in position to gain 3 spots in the point standings early in the season, but already you can start counting them. Jeff Gordon leads Kyle Busch by 1 second.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox is delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.
Yeah, BB.
Today's aerial coverage provided by Subway. There's Phoenix International Raceway. The start-finish line is located right about there. Looking over the Estrella Mountains off in the distance, the new stadium in Glendale, new football stadium. A full grandstand on hand to watch Jeff Gordon extend his lead over Kyle Busch. It's now 1 1/4 seconds.
What I like about this 24 car, Mike, is it looks like he's doing it pretty easy. It looks like this car really is working to hit perfection for Jeff.
66 races since Gordon last went to Sprint Cup victory lane. 3 of the last 4 Phoenix winners have broken long winless streaks. Mark Martin, Ryan Newman, and Carl Edwards.
And I like this combination of Alan Gustafson and Jeff Gordon working together. Alan's a real technical guy, uses all the data and does all this stuff, all the research and everything, works on trends. I think Jeff Gordon really likes that.
A look at Alan Gustafson, Jeff Gordon's crew chief, part of the big swap at Hendrick Motorsports over the winter. And now has Steve Letarte in charge of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. Rick Hendrick is here today. Up on the pit box with one of his Phoenix friends, Ron Pratt. You've seen a lot of the two of them on Speed's coverage of collector car auctions. Very active in the bidding, both very avid collectors. Jeff Gordon the leader in a Chevrolet, Kyle Busch second in a Toyota. Kurt Busch is the best Dodge in 7th, and A.J. Allmendinger is now the first Ford in the race at 10th. Matt Kenseth, Ford, has slipped to 13th. Krista?
And Mike, there is a specific reason why. Actually, a couple. His car is getting so loose, he says he can't drive it. Just asking crew chief Jimmy Fennig, what did you do on that last stop? Did you raise the track bar? Jimmy said, no, I dropped it. But there's a bigger issue. His brakes are starting to overheat.
Well, we talked about that at the top of the show. You carry so much speed into these corners, and these corners they don't have a lot of banking, and you use a tremendous amount of brake, even though it's a fairly short race.
But I think that's what happens to this racetrack halfway on. It doesn't get tighter, it gets looser. And I think you've got to anticipate that, and they haven't done a good job of anticipating what they needed, unlike this 24 bunch.
Jeff Gordon's lead remains 1 1/4 seconds. Kyle Busch, the second place car. Let's take an inside look and listen at what's happening now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint and HTC Evo 4G. Communication from Kyle Busch throughout the day.
Be patient, bud. He ain't gonna invite us to his next birthday party, but we'll get by him. I know I made a mistake. I admitted it. I mean, we did tell him that. Hope the 22 notices what the deal is.
Keep these bikes up. I'm proud of you.
Like you told me, what did you tell me after Texas last year? Don't expect, right?
10-4. 10-4.
Make sure you log on to sprint.com/speed next week, starting on race day at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, to vote for which driver you'd like to go in-car with during the race. Feel you're an inner NASCAR fan with live in-car audio, real-time stats, available on NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile and the new HTC Evo 4G, only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed.
As most people refer to him as the old man is working on Paul Menard's car. He has been,
Around goes Mark.
He's been, but Mark's been wearing him out. I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
He started that wreck. He just didn't finish.
Yeah, he did it off 4 down here, got into him, and then continued it off of turn 2 back there. See, Mark's car just lost the front end for a second. That's what got him into Paul Menard.
But I'm going to tell you, we need to watch that 27 car closely, because how many times have we seen this right here, and it cuts that left rear tire down.
See Mark get loose, and when he tries to catch it, Paul Menard caught it.
See that in Fox Exmo.
Actually, Larry, it just didn't look like it got to the tire. You can see the Goodyear on the tire is still there.
What a save.
If we had the steering angle on that 5 car right now, she'd be going the opposite way.
Going the wrong way.
A great save for Mark Martin, and he continues on in 12th place. No caution.
He continues on, and he's back going to be after that 27 again here in a minute.
Jeff Gordon 1.3 seconds up on Kyle Busch. Next Sunday, we're in Las Vegas.
They're watching lap times, and the 24 and 18 are almost identical on lap time, lap after lap.
And we're getting into the longer run as Mark Martin tries again to get past Paul Menard's Chevy.
He was all up into him again. Had to come off turn 4. Paul said, "You wanted that bad, go ahead."
And now as we get into the longer run, this is where we thought Kyle Busch might be a little better than Jeff Gordon, but Jeff Gordon is still inching away from the 18.
The one thing I see, but the difference in the 2 cars, Jeff seems to have a little bit in reserve. He might not be showing all he's got. Now, I believe Kyle is working as hard as he can.
3rd place. Tony Stewart going after it, passing Kevin Harvick.
But Mike, you know, you're right. You're about 35, 40 laps into this run, and I think that's another thing that goes on with this 14 car of Tony Stewart. He's really good on the long haul, the long runs. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car, remember, had that problem earlier, lost 7 spots on his pit stop. He got to the top 5, but Matt, he's kind of stalled out there.
And he just told Chad Knaus, Larry Mack, about 2 laps ago that he's very pleased with the balance of his race car. In fact, it seems like the balance has gotten much better as the run has gone on, and Chad has stressed to him to conserve his brakes for this final sprint to the finish. Meanwhile, at the top of the top 5, his teammate Jeff Gordon, he simply says his car is tight. He's not really sure what suggestion now, because every stop, the past 3 stops, they've tried to work that out of this race car. Not sure what suggestion to give Alan Gustafson on the next stop to try to fix this. And Gustafson also told him, because Alan's positioned right at the entrance of turn 1 where the cars get out of the gas and jump on the brakes, and says, just be sure to save your brakes.
Darrell, they're going to have to be very careful on their adjustment for this next stop. It's going to be a short run, only about 20, 25 laps, so you don't want to, you know, make it too free or too loose.
Now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has just passed Bobby Labonte, and that puts Earnhardt in the free pass position. If a caution were to come out, he would get back up on the lead lap. 42 laps to go, and Jeff Gordon has clinched the 1-point bonus for leading the most laps in this race.
And that's how you dig out of a hole from a week before. You come back to the next race, you just don't want to have continued bad luck. It's going to turn the points things around again from last week.
So when you win, you get 43 points plus a 3-point bonus for winning, plus a point for leading a lap. And in Gordon's case, if he goes on to victory, he'd get a point for leading the most laps, total of 48.
Kyle Busch trying to repeat his performance from Bristol Motor Speedway last year late summer, where he swept all 3 races of the weekend. He's already won the first 2 here at Phoenix this weekend.
And people have asked, Larry, why the 3-point bonus for winning? Under the old point system, second place received 92% of the first place points. And NASCAR wanted to try to maintain that relationship, and that was as close as they could get it with a 3-point bonus. Second place at 42 gets 91% of what the winner gets.
And you know, every driver out there, they're thinking about one thing. They're thinking about winning the race. Because also remember, what goes with this point system is the way the chase will be seated at the end of 26 races. Right. If you're not in the top 10, the 11th and 12th place spot will come from drivers inside the top 20 that wins the most races in the first 26.
The way they're running right now, the Busch brothers could leave Phoenix leading the points. When was the last time family members were 1-2 in the standings? Stay tuned.
Start your engine! Something in that short bud. We'll go till we can't go anymore. Come on, they're just stacking up. Come on, come on, come on. Both sides, come on. Right in the middle of it, guys, right in the middle of it. Big crash behind you. Big crash. Dude, try not to go through any debris if you can. Yeah, that's impossible.
32 laps to go in the Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox. 7 caution flags, including a 13-car pileup at lap 66. In all, 24 cars have been involved in one of the accidents today. Many of them have made it back on the racetrack. Jeff Gordon leads Kyle Busch by 1.8 seconds. Pole sitter Carl Edwards, his car pretty much destroyed in one of those crashes, but he's back out there logging laps, and he's up to 28th place. He's gained 7 since he came back out of the garage. There's your runner-up, Kyle Busch, who was 1.8 seconds up.
But every right now, bring it right now. Middle back stretch, bring it to us. 4,800 at the line.
Kyle wants to pit now because he doesn't want to pass Carl Edwards. He got up to Carl. Carl has sort of been in his way, and he's afraid that Carl might maybe make it really hard on him. Matt.
And DW, that is exactly the game plan. He was stuck behind the 99. He wanted to short pit, hit pit road before the 24 Jeff Gordon did to try to make up some time and not lose more time with the traffic. You can see they're going to make a chassis adjustment for the short run to the finish. Busch trying to make history here this weekend, going for the triple. He's won every race he's competed in, and he's away.
All right, Greg Biffle comes to pit road. Bobby Labonte, Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart, along with Matt Kenseth, are in, and pit road's getting busy. Matt.
Gordon chasing his 83rd win comes to a stop. Air pressure change this stop. Gordon trying to end that long winless streak. Solid stop so far, Steve.
Good stop for Tony Stewart. Matty hits his marks. Right side tires only. They did a small air pressure adjustment to that 14. Krista.
Kevin Harvick had planned to come in one lap ago, but the 17 was in getting fuel, so they said go around one more time. The 29 is in now, taking the right side tires. The fuel going in. The 29, they're coming around for the lefts.
Jimmy Johnson had picked up the lead. He's in along with Ryan Newman. Matt.
And 4-time winner Johnson in. Chassis adjustment for 5-time champion going to work on the left side. A great average finishing position here. They talked about he's away.
Marcus Ambrose in. Green flag stops continue with just 28 laps to go.
Jeff Gordon lost a ton of time getting off pit road. He and Brad Keselowski were bracing each other over there, and Jeff suffered from it.
Yeah, because Kyle Busch went from about a 1.5 seconds back on Jeff Gordon to now leading by about a 0.5 of a second. We got a car in the wall, Mike. Andy Lally in the 71 just smacked it down in 3 and 4.
Caution is out.
The yellow is out, and that is a huge break for Dale Earnhardt Jr., who did not come in because he'd been in just about 40 laps ago with what did turn out to be a wheel that had gone loose. So Earnhardt was off cycle, but now he is back on the lead lap.
But he's probably the one guy that will have to come back to pit road for 4 fresh tires. All of those guys that just made green flag pit stops, they'll stay out.
They're done.
Tony Stewart is the leader. New record for lead changes at Phoenix, 26 of them, the old record 23. The Busch brothers no longer atop the points the way things are running now, but if they did leave Phoenix atop the standings, the last family members to do so, Davey and Bobby Allison, were 1-2 in the 1988 Daytona 500 and left Daytona as the point leaders.
How about, while we're on that kind of trivia, you were going to tell us how many Wood brothers originally were.
Well, we talk about Glenn and Leonard. Glenn's the team owner. Leonard is the mechanical genius. And now Glenn's sons, Len and Eddie, that run the team. But initially out of Stewart, Virginia, 5 brothers worked on that number 21 car. Delano was the jackman. Clay and Ray Lee, along with Leonard and Glenn, were the Wood Brothers racing team. So now it's down to the second generation. They won the Daytona 500 with Trevor Bayne last week. This week, Bayne crashed the backup car into the wall after contact, and there's a look at the Wood Brothers and friends. Let me tell you how big they were. Not only did they have such great success in NASCAR, but when Ford and Lotus came to Indianapolis for the 500, this was the pit crew. They brought the Wood Brothers to Indy, and they revolutionized pit stops in the 500.
Look at that shot, though. They're all dressed alike. I mean, they really went all out. I mean, they had same matching uniforms like we see today.
Dick Berggren, Dale Jr. has the lucky horseshoe today.
Not really. He just slid over his line in the pit bike and had to back it up, but he has overcome certainly some adversity, a loose wheel, a speeding penalty, but he's still got a shot at this thing.
Yeah, honestly, when you think about it, only 14, 15 cars on the lead lap, and you also saw his teammate Mark Martin in the 5, Denny Hamlin in the 11, back to pit road with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, boys, this could be interesting.
Martin Truex, you see him across the crawl, top of the screen in 14th place. He's going to be the free pass car and get back on the lead lap. And let's recap the day with Chris Myers.
And Mike, all the glow of the Daytona 500 for Trevor Bayne, the 20-year-old winning the Great American Race, did not fare so well. In a backup car for the first time, running in a cup car here, he wrecked early, out of the picture, lap 59. Important because Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards got into it. You talked about how their temper has carried over, and caught in this Kevin Harvick, who had a bad Daytona 500, but he's worked his way back to the top, and then a 13-car wreck. Matt Kenseth ignites it with Brian Vickers. Some of the headline drivers involved that have worked their way back up, including Jimmy Johnson, who had pit problems.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson had trouble on this pit stop right here, but he's battled his way back up to a 4th place. You see the disgust on Chad Knaus's face.
Jeff Gordon, pit problems. Tony Stewart, you have doubts about.
I'm telling you right now, he only took 2 tires on that green flag. I may come back to haunt him now because a lot of guys have got 4 behind him.
The record number of lead changes, 24 to go, Mike. We'll watch closely.
You know why Tony Stewart took 2? How did Ryan Newman win this race last year?
Tony's teammate took 2 on that final stop. We talked earlier in our Going Green about being willing to gamble on the last pit stop. There is Ryan Newman, who is 5th. Tony Stewart is the leader. Did you ever have a taxi cab driver that you thought was auditioning for a ride in a race car, maybe just running a little too fast to where you wanted to go? Next week in Las Vegas, Tony Stewart is going to go incognito and drive a cab in Las Vegas. I wonder how many people will recognize they're being driven by a past Sprint Cup champion. That'll be interesting. Well, I think we'll have some footage.
Yeah. All the cab drivers I ever had, they turn around and say, "You ever run figure 8?" Not until today.
We'll be in Vegas to find out how that sorts out on Sunday with the Cobalt Tools 400. Hey, and later this season, Tony Stewart's going to Watkins Glen with his Sprint Cup car. Lewis Hamilton with his McLaren Mercedes Formula One car. They're going to swap rides for the day at Watkins Glen. Not with show cars, but with their real race cars. Get to have some fun.
Darrell, back to those 2 tires. The only thing I questioned about that, when Ryan Newman did it with Tony Gibson a year ago, there was only a handful of laps to go, and it was at nighttime with the track having a lot of grip. We got a long way to go. We got 20 laps to go.
Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Newman, Harvick, Kane, Busch, Allmendinger, and Kenseth the top 10. We are back under green with Jeff Gordon pushing Kyle Busch down toward turn 1.
One thing I know about Jeff Gordon's car, he has complained about it in traffic. He says it's not very good when he's in traffic. He needs to get out front for it to be at its best.
Kyle Busch breaks out front. Matt.
Mike, Jeff Gordon told Alan Gustafson he figured out a couple things on that last run, being stuck in traffic as far as technique goes, in line and in and out of the throttle, that seemed to help him. And Alan simply said, "You're
trouble.
Front straightaway, a lot of brake lockup. Sorry, Matt, they're back of the pack. Somebody locked them up big. One of the cars damaged earlier, and everybody gets away.
Yeah, I think we've also got a lot of speedy drive. When they go 2 and 3 wide getting into turn 1, I think that's another thing we see. Jeff Gordon in that 24 car, he just drove underneath Tony Stewart in that 14. I just think Stewart's paying the price for just 2 tires on that last stop.
They just cut these guys loose. I mean, when it's 20 to go, everybody gets their game face on big time.
A little smoke from Greg Biffle, we're told. Perhaps a tire rub. They were 3 wide back there fighting for position.
Yeah, he's lucky to have any tires based on what I saw down there a minute ago. I mean, they were 3 wide and banging all over each other.
Biffle dropping back to about 20th. Jimmy Johnson to the inside of smoke. This is for 3rd.
There comes Kevin Harvick in that 29 car battling Tony Stewart for the 4th spot. That lap right there, Jeff Gordon about a 1/2 tenth quicker than our leader Kyle Busch. 18 to go.
Well, Kyle Busch is trying to do something he did last year at Bristol. Win all 3 races on one weekend. I wouldn't count him out. He's looking pretty good right now.
Look at all the laps he has led this weekend with 2 victories already and now 17 laps to go.
Well, look at how many laps he's run this weekend. Holy smoly.
Including practice and all.
3 wide back there, and the car with a number you can't read. This one, Martin Truex, is the car that's been puking some smoke down in turn 1 every lap. But he's able to continue and hold on to 14th spot. Wow. Denny Hamlin up against A.J. Allmendinger as they fight for 9th. Getting into the late stages, are we going to see the kind of action that characterized the first 60 laps of this race?
I think we're seeing some of it. If we, you know, from what these guys are all trying to fight for everything they can get, every position.
Yeah, I think when they were towed on that last restart, about 21 laps to go, I think the intensity level picked up, and I know it's picking up here as Jeff Gordon just keeps snipping away at Kyle Busch in that 18.
Oh, he's got plenty of time, and he's, like you said, Larry, he's inching right up on him.
That last lap, Gordon was 2/10 quicker than Busch. The gap is 4/10 of a second.
But Darrell, what Kyle Busch has to do, you talked about it earlier, he can't start driving out that rearview mirror and start overdriving his race car.
Yeah, and I felt all along that Jeff Gordon had a car that he was really not pushing that hard. He's pushing it hard now, I can tell you that.
66 races since Jeff Gordon last visited Victory Lane.
Thing really, look at his sail into the 3rd turn there. Really closed up the gap on the 18 car going into 3 that time.
14 to go. The time for Kyle Busch to turn it up is right now. 3/10 of a second is the gap.
Looks like Kyle's pretty good in 1 and 2 and hold his own, but when he gets down here to 3 and 4, that 24 car really gets into the 3rd turn right here. Watch this gap close.
Don't measure it in seconds, just measure it in feet. 30 to 45 feet is the difference.
Now wait till we get down to turns 1 and 2.
12 to go here, 12 to go.
Get down in 1 and 2. Kyle seems to be able to hold the bottom, get back in the gas a little bit quicker, and actually open up just a teeny bit off of turn 2.
And he's using that apron to help that car turn below that yellow line, which is perfectly legal here at Phoenix.
Well, if Jeff Gordon wants to win this race, he's going to have to fight Kyle Busch for it.
Well, in yesterday's race, Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards, I mean, they fought tooth and nail, but Kyle was able to hold Carl off.
Tony Stewart in that 14 car, he's fallen outside the top 5 all the way back to 7th.
Next time by, 10 laps to go. Andy Lally, lapped car, moves out of the way. The next one they'll catch will be David Rudiman. And then it's clear sailing. Long way to the next car in line for our 2 leaders.
I tell you what I see. the 18 car really gets off the corner, both of them pretty good. But Jeff gets into the corner to the center a little better. I just don't know. I think he's going to have to roll the third turn and get a run on him off of 4 if he's going to make a pass.
Rudeman moves aside, clear sailing for the leaders. 9 laps to go when they come back to the stripe, and Gordon is there.
Right there. But this is where Kyle can really pull him just a little bit. That's going to make it awfully tough for Jeff Gordon to get by.
Yeah, last time through turn 2, Gordon in the 24 got off the corner good. That speed carries all the way down the straightaway.
Well, Kyle got up off the bottom a little bit that time, and Jeff was able to stay with him. This could be the lap right here. Watch Jeff Gordon into 3.
Oh, Kyle pulls him down the backstretch.
Yeah, but watch that
right
24.
here is where Gordon is strongest. And he gets right to the back bumper trying to rattle Kyle Busch.
Well, it'll get you a little bit loose and allow you to do that right there. Get a little run and he's gone.
8 laps to go.
Whoa, Jeff got loose getting in that corner.
But Kyle was on the outside of him where he was unable to take advantage.
Yeah, it hurt Kyle Busch more than it did Jeff Gordon.
Well, it did then. Better hope that Kyle Busch can't catch him.
7 laps, plenty of time. 7 to go. There's the reaction from Kyle's wipe as Jeff Gordon takes the lead. A little bit of nudge, a little turn of the wheel. Here we go.
Mike, you said it at the top of the show. Little short track racing on a 1-mile track.
Alan Gustafson, he loves what he's seeing.
Tell you what, that 18 car has not given up. Kyle is trying to chase Jeff Gordon back down, and now he says, oh, you want to play that way, do you? Jeff better hope he doesn't get to him.
3rd place battle building. Kevin Harvick has all but caught Jimmy Johnson. Then it's Ryan Newman. And a great race for Casey Kane in 6th.
I think we're going to see a lot of that 4-car Casey Kane. He and Kenny Francis working together over there. Red Bull. I think that's a good combination.
Pretty much Jeff Gordon with 5 to go. Clear sailing. He has about a straightaway in front of him to the next cars out there.
Jeff's got, I mean, he couldn't have it anymore. It couldn't be any more perfect. Nobody, no lap cars or anything to deal with.
Outside pole sitter Kurt Busch of the 22 battling Allmendinger. This is for 8th place. And up front, Gordon has stretched it out on Kyle Busch by a full second now.
Yeah, I think Kyle just needs to be sure that Jimmy Johnson doesn't catch him before this thing ends. Got a pretty good lead over him. I think he'll be all right.
Biggest thing Jeff Gordon will be looking for is that white flag, because he knows we'll have a race then. We won't have to worry about no green-white checker.
0 for 66. And last year, 4 coulda, woulda, shouldas for Jeff Gordon. Today, that's just not going to matter.
Oh, 4-time may want to join 5-time if he keeps racing like this.
Jeff Gordon trying to tie Cale Yarborough for 5th on NASCAR's all-time win list. This would be his 83rd career victory.
You know, you talk about him being a 4-time Sprint Cup Series champion. He has not won a championship since that 48 car started back in 2002.
Car owner Rick Hendrick atop the pit box and looking on. Going to be white flag next time by.
And that is music to you. It's white flag next time by. And you're pulling away.
Jeff Gordon trying for Hendrick Motorsports' 9th win at Phoenix. They have already won 6 of the last 8.
All right, here it is.
White flag. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson has been to victory lane here with Mark Martin and with Kyle Busch. Last week, 20-year-old Trevor Bayne won the Daytona 500 after battling Thursday and drafting with his boyhood hero Jeff Gordon. Today, Jeff Gordon rolls off turn 4, 0 for 66, 1 for 67.
You guys are awesome.
Jeff Gordon wins at Phoenix.
Baby. Welcome back. Awesome job. That's what it's like, man. We earned that one, right?
Darrell, it's about time.
That's a great feeling, man, to go that long, be a great driver like Jeff Gordon is, go that long. Let me tell you, I don't care how many races you've won or how good you are, there's always that doubt in your mind, am I ever going to win another one?
And I think the biggest thing, if you look at the last 18 races, including last week, this man has only had one top 5 finish, so this is huge in many ways.
Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. Thank you so much, boss. Thank you for this opportunity, man. I'm loving these guys.
That's Rick Hendrick. Anyone who thought that the winter time crew chief swap was for the benefit solely of Dale Earnhardt Jr. better look again. Alan Gustafson and Jeff Gordon have won today. They're going to win some more races.
Great confidence builder right here when you make changes like that. I heard Jeff say it himself. If things work out the way we think they will, Rick Hendrick will look like a genius. Again.
Gordon has been competitive. He's had 8 second-place finishes since his last victory. '15th win here for Chevrolet as he rips up the grass.
He's on fire.
Trevor Bayne 1 week, his boyhood hero the next. How about that?
I think
promotional considerations provided by NASCAR on Fox live from Arizona, and we welcome you to the Subway post-race show. And what a finish. It's been a long time for Jeff Gordon. He may be driving to end hunger, but he ended a drought of 66 races without a victory. 8 laps to go, and he overtook Kyle Busch.
Yes, he did. He caught him in his strongest part of the racetrack. The 3 and 4, Jeff Gordon gets down underneath the 18, and he drives up underneath him right there and gets position on him down the front straightaway.
The 39-year-old in victory lane.
And we just beat Kyle Busch.
He led the most laps, and he picks up the win. So let's head down there with a celebration for Jeff Gordon is about to erupt.
Ending nearly a 2-year winless streak.
Oh, man.
Welcome home.
Are you kidding me? Pinch me, man. Pinch me.
Mark Martin, teammate, comes down, the entire Hendrick family down here. Yeah. More meaningful to do it, Jeff, the way you did it today, leading the most laps to end the streak.
I mean, I don't really care how we do it. You know, we just want to get to victory lane, but to do it that way and to see the fans' reaction, I mean, we beat Kyle Busch. We're the only one who beat Kyle Busch this weekend, and he's so tough to beat. And, God, what a race car. Just so thankful, Alan Gustafson and this entire Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet. Got to thank them and Pepsi and DuPont. And, man, what an awesome, awesome feeling it is to when you got the car right like that and they give you 20 to go and it's your job to go get it done. And you got what you need to go do that and to pull it off. I mean, I thought, even if I catch him, what am I going to do with him? And we caught him. He got loose. I got underneath him. And I didn't know what to expect. I got into one, and he was right on my door, and I got loose, got up into him. They said clear, I went, because I knew I needed to get away from him as fast as I could. But, God, it feels so amazing. I can't tell you how amazing this feels, and so thankful to Rick Hendrick, all that he does. And it's been a long time, I know, and I'm going to savor this one so much. But I got to say thanks to the fans. I mean, not only fans at home. I've been tweeting lately for the first time, and all of the stuff that people have been saying, the motivation has been unbelievably inspiring. And then to see that crowd stick around to see my really lame burnout, because I stink at them. But they love that show, and man, we hope we can give them some more shows like that this year. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Same car number, same driver, new crew chief, new sponsor. Same old Gordon ends the day in victory lane, Chris.
With his car owner and a hug and emotion from Jeff Gordon. 4 championships in his first 9 seasons, but none in the last 9. And, you know, he finished second 8 times between his last wins, so he had to go for it. He was desperate.
Well, yes, desperate might be one way to look at it, but I think hungry is the other way to look at it, because he knew that a year ago he let one slip through here by maybe playing a little too nice. And when he got to Kyle Busch, I pretty much summed it up. I was going to get by him or at least get alongside of him. And when they made contact, great short track racing, great effort.
Yeah, Larry, Mike, Darrell, you never know if it's your last one. And you could see Jeff Gordon, he was beginning to wonder, but obviously he came through.
Oh, it was a mixture of elation and relief. And what I liked was, as his car coasted around to victory lane, the first fellow to the driver's window was his crew chief the last few seasons, Steve Letarte. Very classy move, but gosh, to see Jeff Gordon on top again, what a great day.
There's Letarte right there. And this is the 5th crew chief that Jeff Gordon has won with. So Jeff Gordon, it's chemistry, man. We say it all the time, Larry. You got to have the communication. You got to have the chemistry. And when Rick Hendrick made that change, it was the right change.
But I tell you what, we've been watching Jeff Gordon. This is his 19th season in Sprint Cup, and he's won a lot of races. He's won 3 Daytona 500s. But what I just saw, and it's been a long time, 2 years, as he said, I see more enthusiasm and energy in him. I think he may be on that drive for 5.
He started 20th and ended up in victory lane today. Let's meet the runner-up with Steve Burns.
Well, Kyle Busch, you had a spectacular weekend, 2 wins and a second-place finish. I heard you say on the radio to your crew, I didn't do a very good job in the first part of the race. What did you mean by that?
I mean, it was a real big mistake on my part early, and the first person I got to apologize to is Carl Edwards, obviously, for what happened there on the backstretch. It just got out from underneath me, and we were getting bounced around like a ping pong ball there for a while, and I got into him and just killed his day. I know he was frustrated, and I could tell out there on the racetrack, but I apologized I don't know how many times. It was unintentional, especially for the way we raced yesterday. It was so good to race that way and to put on a good show in front of these fans and to have that happen. I know they had a good race car, so all that aside, I mean, just can't thank these guys enough with this Combos Camry. They did a great job this weekend bringing up a great race car off the truck, and we had a fun time today. We came through a lot of adversity. We worked real hard. Dave and the guys never gave up, and the pit stops were good all day. So I mean, we kept battling through everything that was thrown at us, and there at the end, Jeff just had a better car than us. I thought that I was going to be able to. When I got out to a big enough lead, I thought, man, I got it. I can hold him off with this far. And he just ran me down and flat out passed me, So he was really, really fast, and we couldn't hold him back. So it's good to see those guys back in victory lane. Those are all my old 5 guys. So that's cool, if anything's good about today.
See you in your hometown next weekend.
All right, thanks.
Well, Jimmy, you weren't very fast in practice. You weren't very fast in qualifying. Not very fast at the beginning of the race. But here you are finishing 3rd at the end. How'd you do it? Where'd the speed come from?
Well, I mean, we've worked on a lot of new stuff over the off-season, and we tried to test, but we had some weather keeping us from testing. And with that, in the way that our sport is now, without having any preseason testing, we've been testing all week. And even the first half of the race, I got to give a lot of credit to Chad, being aggressive, coming to pit road often, big changes to the car, and we woke it up. So I'm happy to get this finished. Needless to say, I'm happy for Jeff, happy for Hendrick Motorsports to win. The more we all run these new cars in the new style setups we're developing, the better we're going to be. And one of them won today, and the one was 3rd. So we're off to a good start. Very happy for Lowe's and Cobalt Chevrolet, and we'll go to the next one.
A good day for 5-time Jimmy Johnson.
Well, nobody loves this racetrack more than Kevin Harvick. You had to struggle through some adversity. How bad were you smelling and sniffing that wind, knowing that this track's going to change next time we come back here?
Yeah, well, first off, I just got to thank everybody from Jimmy John's and Budweiser and Chevrolet and everybody at RCR for everything they do. Yeah, we had a weird day. We wrecked once and then about wrecked again, and then got into it with a couple cars and caved both front fenders in. I wish we could have raced the car and not being tore up, but all in all, everything went good. Guys on the pit crew can do it. We just got to get the consistency there, and we'll be right where we need to be.
It's not a win, but he takes a top 5 home for his 10-year anniversary.
Thanks a lot. It was a story of comebacks for guys like Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, who were involved in wrecks that worked their way back up to the top. And for Jeff Gordon, he moves up 20 positions in points. I know it's just the 2nd race of the season. Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. rallied to kind of get within that top 10 as well.
Speaking of fighting back, he went down a lap. He was able to make it up, and again, battling his way back through there. And Denny Hamlin, the guy who kind of felt like he maybe lost his championship chase in 2010 here at Phoenix, had a decent top 10 finish today.
Our pole sitter Carl Edwards wrecking early, finishing 28th. Again, Jeff Gordon leading the most laps, 138. Tony Stewart next on that list, and then Kurt Busch.
Yeah, how about Trevor Bayne, our Daytona 500 champion? He had a very short and abbreviated day. A lot of people expecting things out of him, but, well, there's always next time.
Yeah, you know, it's Oscars night, Academy Awards in Hollywood. If we had a NASCAR movie today, the kids are all right. Trevor Bayne and Joey Logano, the 20-year-olds. Kyle Busch would star in The Fighter, and Jeff Gordon would star in True Grit, as we check the way the point standings are after 2 of 36 points races.
How about that? The Busch brothers are leading the points, headed to their hometown of Las Vegas next week, so that's going to be pretty impressive.
As the celebration continues, and Jeff Gordon was wondering if it would ever come. Coming up on Fox, Animation Domination. Speaking of the Dominator, Jeff Gordon winning, but his teammate Jimmy Johnson finishing third. Animation Domination, the gift as the Simpsons keep on giving. And then Bob's Burgers, and you can sink your teeth into a full hour of Family Guy. It all starts tonight at 7/6 Central. Next Sunday, NASCAR on Fox moves to Las Vegas. Remember, Jeff Gordon thought he had that race won last year before Jimmy Johnson pulled into victory lane ahead of him. For more coverage of this race, our friends over at Speed will have a lot of coverage on Jeff Gordon's win from today in Phoenix, as NASCAR President Mike Helton shaking hands with the winner. And so far, we have a 20-year-old pulling off the Daytona 500 and a 39-year-old four-time champ getting back into victory lane for the first time in 66 races.
A little bit of young with a little bit of the old. Looks pretty good to me right now, buddy.
And Jimmy Johnson talking about a bounce back in the bigger picture with Kevin Harvick, those guys that want to be there in terms of the points racing as we head to Las Vegas.
Yeah, the day didn't necessarily, make the difference whether you're going to make the chase or not, but it does help you to kind of turn your season around at least early on.
For DW, Larry and Mike, for Steve, Krista, Dick, and Matt, along with Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers. Special thanks, by the way, to our pre-race show producer, Bill Richards, moving up in the Fox family. We welcome in Chuck McDonald at that position. This has been a Barry Landis production directed by Artie Kempner. All special effects were real. Join us next Sunday from Las Vegas, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific, for the pre-race show delivered by Pizza Hut. I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox.